I'm Ara N6ARA.
And I'm Mark, Kilo Delta 7, Delta Tango Sierra.
And I'm a guest, Josh KI6NAZ.
And welcome to episode 9 of SOFA's on the Air. SOFA's on the Air is a podcast that covers a whole host of topics from summits on the air to parks on the air, ham radio, and the general wacky antics we like to go on.
And today we are excited to be promoting Josh and finally giving him a platform to share his voice in public.
I'm just glad you guys made it past episode 6. High fives around on that one.
Hey,
Congratulations.
we're a real podcast now.
Real podcast.
So for those of you who don't know, Josh runs a small up-and-coming channel known as Ham Radio Crash Course. He covers a lot of topics, including how to get licensed, emergency preparedness, portable operations, home operations, antennas, how to drink beverages late into the night while also building antennas.
And answering people's questions.
People's questions.
Amazing.
We try. Yes.
So we are happy today to give him a venue to talk about ham radio while drinking beverages for a change of pace.
Thank you. I don't have to run this. It's like my favorite
You get to show
part.
up.
I just get to sit down and be like, what are you guys doing? Are we opening now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, we're not going to wait.
no. Okay.
As our audience knows, we like to do a drink with our guests
do.
every
All right.
episode. And today
You
we
guys ready to
have...
open?
Should we just open it? All
Oh, we're opening.
All right, let's do it. Are we synchronizing? 3, 2, 1. Oh!
It's all right.
Spilled on my laptop.
It's a very durable sofa, even if the laptop isn't. So today we are drinking the Elysian Contact Haze.
Yes, a good hazy IPA.
And I'll be honest, when I get on the radio, I get a Contact Haze.
Because we're in Southern California.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, this looks awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
That tastes like a hazy
Thoughts?
IPA.
Tastes like a hazy IPA. Thoughts?
Is there citrus?
There's probably Citra.
I like that it comes in Ormoo orange.
Yeast.
Oh, there is citrus. Actually, and currants, raspberries, bursts of bright raspberries. Excuse me.
So that's probably a byproduct of the Citra that they're using in it. But so me personally, I'm a big fan of the IPAs that taste like a tree. I don't as much like the grapefruity, citrusy types. I like the like pine, like real jammy, real bitter IPAs. I don't know why, but that's kind of I like that too.
Yeah.
Preference wise, yeah.
Well, I think prior to this episode, Dee punched into the AI machine, what would Josh like for beer? And it like literally said this. So now that you fed the AI algorithm what you actually like, now it'll give an even more accurate answer.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's crazy. That scares me. The AI thing scares me. I don't like it.
It's best not to think about
I
it.
don't like any of this.
Well, I did want to ask, how has AI, if at all, changed how you're doing YouTube?
Oh, whoa.
Not one iota.
My man.
Like
I will.
I
Cheers
don't.
to that.
So Leia will use it, and obviously Leia is my co-host on our podcast, and she will use it for some things, but it doesn't even enter my mind in most times that I can even use it. Like every app wants to shove that down your throat. It's like, well, why don't you use AI?
Yeah, look at this. Look at all this money we
I never
spent.
like think I should do that. I haven't. I will take that back. The one thing I have used is that AI voice filter on HF. It's very good. So that I can support that. I think that's pretty cool. Obviously, you have to. You're basically forwarding the information out.
Oh,
And
they
then
process it on there.
it. It's coming back. It's very low
Interesting.
latency though. It's really
Wow.
interesting. I've been impressed with that. But it's
Whoa.
pretty good. Nothing else other than that.
Well, I do like the human intelligence.
I'm a big fan of processes and procedure.
Yeah.
And building routines. And then once I have a routine I like, it becomes galvanized, and then it's very hard for me to like
Iterate
splash
and
things
change
in.
it,
It almost has
yeah.
to be like a life-threatening thing for me to change to something else.
Yeah.
Because I get so rutted that it's like that allows me to go fast, but at the same time, it's very rigid. And
Yeah.
One thing you said on your podcast a couple weeks ago that I liked was that the clickbaity titles that AI is suggesting,
Dude.
they're great for short-term viewership, but they're not good for building the archive of reference material.
I like to be able to aggregate data, and search engines to me only work if you give it things that it can pull, either in the title, even thumbnails now, like the text on thumbnails or in the description. And if there's not good content there, then no one will find your stuff later.
Yeah.
And a lot of these like clickbait titles, by the way, it's coming from, I can tell you what it's coming from. There's a couple, if you use those YouTube plugins.
I have never used YouTube.
So there's like vidIQ and TubeBuddy. A lot of people use these and they will embed themselves in the video upload thing. And it'll tell you like, oh, you should use this title, or you should add, it'll actually AI out the description of watching the video and try and add.
Like listening to the dialogue and trying to understand context.
It will look at it and then feed you ideas. I don't use the ideas, but for a while I was trying out these titles, and it's always like top ham radio expert explains why the new Radioddity radio is the best. Like it's really weird,
corny.
It's like used car salesman stuff, right? It's a stupid, like punchy, blah blah blah. But it's got nothing to it.
It's gonna be so weird because it's like the AI that they have implemented there is then trying to game the AI of YouTube to promote things. So is it like one of those like two chatbots talking things? Is it just like a spiral down
it's
to
the
hell?
Two Furbies, you know, when you stick the two Furbies together and they just start like that whole thing. That's what it feels like.
Spiral down to garbage.
So I like that you're opting out of that for the most part.
I'm trying.
I love it.
Sometimes it does recommend things that are good. I could probably pull up a couple of them that I like, but most of the time I'm trying to make it so that maybe I don't get as many views right off the drop, but it will consistently be searchable.
Yeah.
And that's more important, I think.
Especially with your channel, where a lot of people really do go there to answer specific questions, and you have such a deep archive that if you go to HRCC and you search for almost anything, there's something on it.
We've been at it for a little while. I think that's more time based than anything, just consistency and just continuing to make videos and that whole deal, right? I mean, that's kind of the big game. But yeah.
Now, I didn't actually ask you here to talk about YouTube. I asked you here to drink beer and talk about soda. Before I move on to soda, do you want to talk about anything else on YouTube, or do you think we've cleared the elephant in the room?
I think we're pretty good. I was almost going to call this the Darn Tough Sock episode. But, it's you and I, the only ones. You're in an inferior sock. Also, I realized I should have wore pants. I forgot of the framing of this whole space here. So sorry, everybody watching my pasty legs, but
we'll fix it in post with
we'll put a
go ahead.
put a pillow on it.
That doesn't bother me. But I just realized, I'm like, wow, those legs are really pink.
Probably it's a
well,
white.
you can only get this content here.
That's right. And if you're watching online, I assure you it's a white balance issue. He's very tan.
No, I'm not. We white balance to that, and that's not it.
Oh man! You want to dive into some soda stuff, Mark?
I do.
Yeah, let's do it.
I mean, you know me. I will talk about soda until the sun sets, which is likely because we're literally watching the sun traverse across the sky from our sofa. So, Josh, how did you get started with soda?
I was a technician. And was a technician for years and years. And I didn't really think, I was like, I don't really need to go general or anything like that. And I started playing around with APRS of all things. And APRS led to me to, well, let's get higher up. And so I would go out hiking. I was hiking with friends and stuff. I had my Kenwood D72, which was like the hotness radio.
That's a nice radio.
And I was like, well, you know, what else can I do out here? And I stumbled upon Summits on the Air. I'm not actually sure how I found it. I think it actually might have been Soda Goat.
The app itself?
No, the Goat.
Oh, the Goat. Oh,
yeah,
Steve.
Yeah. I think I found his video, because I don't even know how long ago those videos have been posted now.
A long time. So it's probably one of the very
so you're
first
talking
people
about
to
Steve
do videos.
WG0AT.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay, this is cool. So Summits on the Air was actually my primary motivation to upgrade to general.
Really?
Yeah. And so I was happy in my little VHF, UHF world. And I'm like, no, this is cool. Like, have a little backpack radio, and I'm going to go do the whole thing. And this is about the time, I think maybe the KX2 had just come out. And so I, of course, was lusting after that. But it was just so expensive for where I was at the time. So I ended up getting an LNR Precision LD5 or LD3, which was a single sideband CW and advertised digital, but it didn't work that well. And in my thinking, right, I didn't know anybody that was doing summits on the air. I just had the SOTA map. This was before SOTLess.
Yeah.
And I pulled up local summits in the area. And to my thinking, I'm like, well, I probably can't do an 8. That's too much for me. But a 1 is too easy. Little did I know, you work harder for 1.
Sometimes,
for
definitely.
But I found a 4-pointer out. It's called Smith Mountain. Have you either one? Have you ever,
yeah, I know Smith. Yeah.
Did you hike it?
No, I have not hiked it. It's on my to-do list.
It kicked my butt. It was one of the hardest hikes I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had a guy that was coming out with me, not a ham. And he's like, well, why don't we bring your drone? And this was a DJI Phantom 4.
Whoa.
Which was huge.
Yeah.
And it was in this styrofoam box, and he had it like lashed to his back like a Sherpa, and we proceeded to go do this hike. This is an aggressive hike that has like a scramble in the last like quarter mile and a false summit as well. And it's rough because it's all just it's basically going up granite, and then you have just bushes everywhere. So you're literally semi bushwhacking through it. No one's doing this hike. So
yeah,
there's, like,
there are
nothing
8s
to
that
go
are
on.
easier than that, dude.
It was not a good jam. So then I get up to the summit, and I don't know what I'm doing, right? I'm still very new at HF. I think I had built a dipole at this time, and I was doing like PSK Reporter in my backyard. Or not PSK 31 in my backyard. And so I get to the summit, and I had the Yurichi 9-to-1 random wire unun. And I set it all up. Immediately, my telescoping mass breaks. Right out of the gate. First activation.
Oh, man.
Get it set up. I got it jammed in between a thing, and then just the tip, wind kicks up, boom, done.
Yep.
So I've got half of the antennas not in the right alignment. I'm like, okay, I think I got this all set up because I don't know CW.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do like PSK 31 on the mountain. So not only I brought a laptop too to just make this even dumber. So I get all set up, and I'm like, okay, we got to tune it because it's a 9-to-1. Yeah. So I literally have that MFJ pocket tuner. Remember that old that old chestnut? Yeah. So I'm screwing around with it. I think I got it all set up. I go to key up. I give myself the biggest RF burn I've ever received in my life off of a QRP radio.
That's actually impressive.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Wildest activation.
At the time, I wasn't that impressed, but it was wild. So not activating, I didn't hear like anything because I didn't set it up right. So I'm like, I'm just too tired. We have to leave. And it was when I was vlogging, actively daily vlogging. And so I uploaded the video, and I think I just titled it SOTA Fail. I just posted it. I'm like, okay. And I haven't been back to Smith Mountain again.
Since? Really?
I have to go conquer it,
dude.
now.
Yeah.
I have to go back.
Josh, let's go.
I don't know if I'm ready for that.
I heard that it was on Ara's list.
It is on my list. I'm familiar with it. Yeah. It's just like and it would be a complete for me. So that's coming up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's full sun.
Yep. Lots of exposure.
A massive scramble. Half of it's hiking up like a ridge line.
Yeah.
That's just really steep to begin with. It's pretty wild.
Maybe don't bring a full laptop and a drone.
No.
Or make Mark do it. He'll be the mule.
I was so overpacked because I didn't know what I was doing.
Dude.
I would be like day packed, tiny, and it would be like probably the Elecraft KH1 or something. I wouldn't take anything bigger than that.
Dude, my first activation, my pack was 35 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a giant I brought a Jackery battery.
It
was like the stupidest.
I'm relocating my entire life.
I brought a table and like a cheese plate. Like it was like the stupidest activation you could possibly think of. And you're like, maybe we should, bring down the mass of this thing.
I brought my wood crafting axe and an adze in case I need to hand you a canoe to get off the summit.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
This is actually a really good transition to why I wanted to bring this up.
Okay. Yeah.
So we have had 2 new activators in the SoCal SOTA scene recently. Names changed to protect the innocent. Let's call them Ahmed Say and Paulo A.
Okay, all right. Well, you can look this up.
And they both actually had fairly similar experiences. They both really wanted to get into SOTA because it's awesome. Good call. And they also knew that they would be better off if they went with somebody experienced. So Ahmed reached out to me Paulo say hit up some other people.
Yeah.
And in both cases, the first trip was borderline a catastrophe for two reasons. In both cases, bringing more weight than was needed.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common thread in most people's first.
And overestimating the ease of climbing a peak in the middle of California. And so I wanted to ask, as somebody who is very good at getting new people into the hobby and teaching them what they need to know, as Elmers in the SOTA community, what should we be doing better for our new people?
The only thing I can think of is you gotta have some kind of SOTA days where you say, months in advance, everybody meet at this parking lot. We're gonna go do an easier activation.
That's a really good idea.
And then
and have all the gear for them in case, don't overpack. Like, we'll make this easy for you.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna, just bring one radio.
Yeah.
Let them just do the hike.
And if you fail, we'll still help you out. Like, it's like a safety net or something.
Really, like if either one of you are going and you do
that's what I mean. We can guarantee they're not going to fail.
Yeah. Like, we'll be their safety net. Like, if their radio blows up or they forgot a connector, we'll have them covered with our rigs.
Right. So on your channel, on everybody's channel, you just go, SoCal SOTA intro days or newbie days, and then you just say this parking lot, 7 a.m.
So brilliant.
Start talking about it 3 months in advance, and then you do the hike, you knock it out, and then you go eat somewhere after or something like that. I mean,
dude, this is brilliant.
That's literally
like genuinely. How have we not done this already?
We need to do this on the easiest possible peak that qualifies for winter bonus at the very last weekend.
Because you could talk about that too. You could be like, hey, this is winter, and so we get extra points. So that's why we like to go out and do stupid things when it's really cold or really hot.
Yeah, like risk hypothermia or like heat exhaustion or heat
stroke.
Yeah.
I feel like usually I've taken a few people on first activation or their first activations, and most of the time I've picked something like Flint Peak, which is at least near me and near Glendale, and it's like a half a mile, I think a little over half a mile, and maybe like 500 feet of gain. So it's nothing like, you don't have to be in great shape to do it. It's easy to get to and go up. And like, usually folks are like, oh, that was an easy hike. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But this was like about like working through the whole process, understanding what it is, and then sort of elevating like based on where you're at. And both, I want to say like operational skill set, like how good you are as a field op and as a hiker. Because like those two elements definitely play into.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these, in this case, you'd be aiming for like best practices. Like, what is it that you do? And if you're getting too wrapped up in the hike, or you're getting too gassed by the hike that you're not retaining anything and you're just kind of going through the motions, then you'd have to do a couple of them.
Sure.
So you don't want drive up. I don't
No drive up.
A mile feels kind of like the sweet spot for a lot of people, but a half a mile is probably just as good, if not better, because then they can focus more on the activation part of it instead of recovering from the hike, whatnot.
Yeah, it's also kind of interesting because there is an element to it of like, I feel like my very first activation, which was an absolute total fail. Like, I didn't even make it to the summit. I thought I was in the activation zone, but I was completely far away. And the failure itself became a motivator to try again. Like, it kind of upset me that I didn't get it and that I needed to go again to do it. And then like that just kind of snowballed. So I'm kind of, I don't know. I guess it depends on the person's personality.
But you're not advocating that we help people fail the first time.
No. I'm not advocating that. But there is a certain thing to be said about that. Like, it'd be interesting to gather the stats on everybody's first activation to understand like where they kind of lie in that spectrum.
So I was having a chat with one of our club members, and I was describing, how do you succeed at summits on the air? And the challenge that I got was actually not on the approach, it was on the definition of succeed.
Ooh.
Activating.
Living. No, honestly.
That's a good starting point.
Well, because a really interesting fail can be either a sign of great decision making, or it means you had a good trip in a different way. So I think it kind of made me pause. What is success in SOTA? And the definition can be very broad. And
it can change over time.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So going back to kind of what you said earlier, and also that, there is a certain amount of, you can make this look too easy.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have this hypothetical day where everybody meets up and then they go do a half-mile hike, they activate, come down, they're like,
Oh, that was a piece of cake. Yeah.
you could almost create too much confidence
Yeah.
and that they probably shouldn't have, right? Because I think a lot of a good activation starts with good planning in which summit you're going to go to, understand what the hike is, have your navigation kind of worked out, particularly when you're new and may not be very outdoor savvy, a lot of skill there. So if you have, unless you're going with somebody who is, like if you got an Adam, right?
Yeah.
And you just go do, well, sometimes you can't do what Adam does. That's very true. But you like, if you're going with somebody that's very skilled, you'll pick that up along the way. But if you come to like this clinic, if you will, this hypothetical clinic, but you don't have that for your next one, you have to almost instill in them that you're going to have to do all these things that
disclose
we did
all
for
that.
you
Yeah.
that made this really easy. Like you will need to go to SOTA-verse. You will need to look up these trails. You will need to figure out what you need to bring.
Yeah.
And
Like your water, your offline maps, checking the weather ahead of time, getting the clothes, like all these checklists, like disclosing that to them seems like a really good idea. Because
what I like about the intro to SOTA Day, though, is another issue I hear all the time is yes, there's a ton of information available. Too much. Like the fact that people have put together really good intro talks doesn't necessarily mean that people will digest them because they're not ready to receive the information. Information gets absorbed when people realize, like, I have a need to know this thing.
Yeah.
How do I get it?
Okay, I agree with where you're going on that for sure.
Right. So yes, we need to put the information out there. I have a how to do SOTA video of my own. It hasn't been watched by the people who needed to watch it.
It's watched by people who already know SOTA.
And the people who already know SOTA are like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's all the right stuff.
Yeah,
and then the new people are like, oh yeah, that was an hour long. I didn't observe
like I'm not gonna bother with that. Yeah. Or like even people who are like, oh, like I remember one of my first activations, I got a message back from someone saying like, oh, you should go read the rules of SOTA.
Yeah.
And I opened the PDF. I'm like, I'm not reading all of this.
Oh,
like
the
this is too much.
140 pages.
Yeah, like I can't absorb all that. Like give me like a TLDR, you know?
Yeah.
And
I kind of forgot where I was going with my original point, but I had some. Oh yeah, it was a comparison to like parks on the air versus summits on the air. And I know you guys, we all like all these.
Yeah, I genuinely like
programs.
both. Yeah,
love it. But it's a lot easier to just fail your way into parks on the air, and you like, oh, it started raining.
yeah.
I just got in my car and I went home. Or I was already in my car because the radio's already in my car. For summits on the air, though, it's way more, it can be dangerous is probably the wrong word, but those are real things you have to factor in.
Yeah.
And so to your core question that kind of started the whole thing off is how do you get more people interested in summits on the air? The reality is there's a lot higher entry point of knowledge and understanding I think you need for summits on the air than like parks on the air. Because you're literally going to the outdoors. In a lot of cases, peak bagging is not something that the majority, the average outdoor enthusiast is even doing. So you're already at a higher starting point in simply going outdoors, but then you're like, but we want more people to come in.
Yeah.
You're like, are we sure we want that? Because some of these folks could have never hiked in their life, and I know that's happened. It brought people in, but I think for those people, a lot more care should be taken that they understand what they're fully getting into,
right?
With the risk and the ramifications of all of that.
Well, that's what happened with the trip to White Mountain. That was Ahmed's first ever hiking trip at 14,000 feet for his first ever hiking trip, which was no joke. And Paulo wrote actually a very nice blog summary of this where he described the challenges he had trying to do Strawberry, which is not a crazy peak if you're familiar with being outside, hiking peaks, doing all of this. And he had a hard time controlling his heart rate.
Oh, jeez.
Because if you're at elevation and you're not used to it and you're going hard, it's really easy to jack your heart rate up.
Yeah.
And it's hard to recover from that.
Just standing. You're going to breathe harder at higher elevation. You're going to be, again, in situations that most people don't find themselves in.
Yeah. I think this actually highlights the importance of community, by the way. Like the SoCal SOTA community, I think helped him out. Like I think the next day or the next week, Paula went out with Mike and Lorene to which one was it? Mount Waterman, yeah. And they did it together.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And I contacted him on it.
Yes, yeah.
Because he succeeded.
Yeah, and like that's where like leaning on a community, and this I would say I remember my first SOTA activations. Like I discovered the SoCal SOTA community, and they were like having the Zoom meetings, and just happened to line up on the same day. I was like Googling it, so I joined, and everyone was so not only welcoming but like more than happy to give advice, and they focused on me. Like most of the people in the Zoom chat all knew each other already, and they like latched on to the new person, and rather than kind of like being like, yeah, whatever, newbie, they were all like, how can we help you? And that was just so wonderful. And I think a lot of the SOTA community in general is like that.
I mean, it's generally been always really welcoming. I remember back when I was looking at, getting started, there wasn't Zooms or Discords or anything like that. There was literally the forum page. And you would go to the SOTA forum page and ask questions. And I got numerous great pieces of advice that I've, carried forward and still continue to use.
Yeah.
It's only gotten better and easier, and the radios are better.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much better than it used to be. And you're only talking like, was that like 10 years?
Is it? Oh, wow. This is 10 years ago.
SOTA's still pretty new.
Yeah, I know.
But
It's
I'm
like
talking just from when I was in the different
Yeah.
phases of when I was
Right.
getting introduced to it. I guess that goes back like 10 years. That's kind of crazy. But
I think SOTA started in 2012 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Isn't it?
So, well, that's a great suggestion. I think we should absolutely do that.
Yeah, I actually really like that a lot. Like it's sort of one of those when you hear it, you're like, wait, why haven't we done that?
Yeah, we've been pretty good at offering to pair new people up with somebody else, but I don't think we've had a structured entry point.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit ad hoc. I think we also almost need like a readiness checklist for the mentors, for the Elmers.
Yeah.
Like, have you checked their hiking ability? Have you had a discussion about equipment, pack
Did you
weight?
get their doctor's note?
But
Do you have your parent guardian approval?
Yeah. You gotta get the signatures.
My son is in scouts, and we fill these things out like for every event.
Dude, I'm
constantly,
sure.
and it's
I'm
just
sure. Like
a
liability
checklist.
and all
Oh,
that.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, not too much paperwork, but just sanity check to make sure that people are physically and
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, you
technically
kind of
ready
do
to
have to custom tailor things, and also like not just in shape, but also like how good of an operator they are. Like how much, more so how much experience have they had, so you know how much to dial your,
Yeah.
teaching them how to like operate. Because like funny enough, so yesterday, I completely forgot this was yesterday. I went up Mount Emma with my friend Justin K6ELD. It was his first SOTA activation as well, and we made a newbie to newbie, summit to summit with Paulo, which was super fun.
Oh,
that's really cool.
I was headed up the mountain. This guy has hiked a bunch of times, and he was like, he was going up no problem, and I'm just like huffing and puffing and like slowing down because like I'm actually a little out of shape because I haven't done activation in a while. But this guy, no problem on the hike. It was a breeze for him. But he had no idea how to do exchanges, and he hadn't done like HF. Like he has a general, but he hadn't done like SSB contacts before.
oh, interesting.
So you not only like I had to pair it to him what to say, like okay, say 5.9, or whatever, and like just work him through it. And eventually by the end of it, he kind of got like, oh, okay, I got the hang of this. You say your signal report, you say thanks in 7.3, and he started adding his own little flares at the end of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like,
Oh, that's awesome.
He's vibing.
He's
on
vibing.
the
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah. And it's just really cool to also personalize it. I
Yeah.
think that's where I was going with this.
Yeah. I just got back from Sandia Crest
Oh, in New Mexico.
in New Mexico.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay.
I
And
tried to do that when it was snowed over.
my graduate school mentor, the guy that taught me a lot of what I know, conveniently is an amateur extra.
Oh, wow.
And he's built a ton of very cool equipment, including a vacuum capacitor mag loop out of spare parts.
Oh, cool. Okay. Okay.
Like
yeah.
he's very, very competent.
Yeah. Is he a double E? Or just really good at it?
Just he's naturally good at it.
No.
Also
That's
a
sick.
double E, I believe. But
Oh, okay. That helps.
But we
Not
went
that you
up,
need
and
it.
I've now done his only 2 ever on-air experiences with him.
Oh, that's sick.
One last year and one this time. So
Yeah.
he's really good at building all the equipment and testing it, but he almost never hits the PTT. And so I was talking to
It's the hobby for something.
what is a signal report? Like this is the button you push to transmit, and it's interesting because everybody comes at it from a different place.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Venn diagram of operators, right? You have to like radio, You have to like hiking, and the little sliver in the middle is the target audience, right? And that can limit things, right? That's why ham radio is such a big hobby. And if you niche down, well, it's like how narrow a focus do we get? But you can see there's like kit builders, right? Kit builders are a huge space, and a lot of those guys will tell you, I hardly ever get on the air. I just run my radios into my testing equipment, and that's it.
Yeah,
mission accomplished.
So when it comes to being successful in SOTA, I think there's sort of 3 elements to it. And I was brainstorming a little bit with Ara on the phone. My 3 pieces of success, if you define success as safely getting an activation done.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
Is technical, physical, and mental.
Yeah.
Because unlike some other aspects of the hobby, if you don't have all 3 of those firing at the same kind of level, you're not really going to get done what you might want to get done.
I get the physical, but your first one was technical.
Technical.
What's the mental component? Because that's the part I'm like, I go out there for the mental enjoyment, the relaxation of it, if you will.
So mental is things like training your Morse code.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or just knowing how to work a QSO?
Knowing how to work a QSO.
Yeah.
Teaching yourself to be mentally tough. So if it is a hard activation, just being purely physical won't get you through. There will be some level of discomfort that you have to overcome. Or you might have to adjust your activation approach to do a fallback to an easier peak, right? So there's a toughness approach that you have to have. And then you have to achieve balance between your technical objectives, your physical capabilities, and your mental state. And finding balance is very much a mental activity. By the way, for the
audio listeners,
or the video listeners, because this was off frame, we have cat feeding robots, and Ormoo just got dinner. So.
Is there an earthquake?
I'm like,
is this the start of an earthquake?
No, you would think it's an earthquake, but it's just Ormoo actively running to her food bowl. She's obviously starving constantly. So that's sort of my new map. I was thinking I might flesh that out in a video at some point.
I like that. You should. You absolutely should.
I like it.
The other thing I wanted to say is in SOTA in particular, you need to have all 3 of those balanced. And so mental balance isn't just within your objectives. It's how do you balance your training time? Because learning Morse code takes time away from going to the gym, which takes time away from soldering your K6ARK antennas.
Antennas, yes.
And then all of that only works if you have a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Which means achieving balance between your SOTA activities and your non-SOTA activities.
Sure.
That's a really good point.
There's a lot to get to that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's Maslow's pyramid of SOTA.
And it's funny because I feel like the way I prioritize that was I actually never really exercised my first few years in doing SOTA. Like I use SOTA as the exercise. Like each weekend I would go out and do a slightly tougher mountain. So like I kind of worked my way up that way. Yeah. But definitely the mental thing for sure though. Like it's interesting because as you were describing that, it reminded me of another friend I brought to a summit just to teach him what I'm doing. Ham radio operator, had already knew how to do radio contacts and tons of hiking, but didn't know the exchange lingo and sort of what it goes through, what you go through. And he got really, really frustrated trying to make the contacts because he didn't know what to say and had mic fright and all this stuff. And it took some iteration and time to build that mental,
right. You almost want to get some of that worked out before you even head out.
Try.
The door. Yeah. I mean, I can see that.
Or just commit and try and know that it'll be okay. Everybody's been there.
So having that sort of success matrix is one of the things. The second thing I've learned about getting new people in is if you give people a successful experience and then add difficulty, they'll feel confident at every step along the way. But if people have one bad experience, it can scare them off.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that goes back to what you were saying, right? Is you almost looked at your failure point as a challenge.
Yeah.
You felt
it's a personality thing, though,
let this
right?
beat me, right? And
that
I guess it depends on the person, right? It's too difficult to say this will work for every person.
Yeah.
It kind of depends. And maybe you want a little taste of a little taste of everything.
This goes back to one of my favorite sayings of I don't like I don't like generalizations, which is a very general thing to say. Like you can't, you can't. There's no one single solution for every single person in this case.
Right. Right. You're almost working too hard to solve every problem.
Yeah.
And you kind of just need to let the magic happen. So
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Again, start telling people 3 months from now, we're going to meet at this parking lot and we're going to hike up this mountain and we're going to activate it. And then we're going to go get burgers.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Like just make it no more complicated than that. I think we've talked about this is that sometimes we as hams have a tendency to overcomplicate everything. And you can do that for yourself. But if you start to project that on other people, then you're dragging them into something that like they haven't even gotten off the curb.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Just go with it. Like just set up the the thing. Go do it, and then maybe after talk about it when you're eating your burger. Yeah. Don't get crazy with the okay. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and you're 18 steps down, and you haven't even got on the trail.
You've overwhelmed them.
Just go do it.
Well, speaking of just doing it, I think we have a clear next step.
What's that?
We're gonna do this.
We're gonna do this. Yeah. Damn, that's so cool. I love this.
That was a good topic.
Yeah,
All right.
it was.
Shall we move on?
The next topic. Oh, man.
All right, you're in charge.
Oh, my gosh. The last 5-6 months of my life here. So, for quick context, I think some of our viewers who've watched before know I've been working on this little whip antenna that has a built-in tuner. So it could do... You want to...
I want to hold it.
This is actually the production version.
I saw a version of this, right?
Yeah,
I haven't seen
it. It has
this.
a gearbox now. So it's called the Tiny Gawant.
I haven't seen the gearing.
I've been covering it on my YouTube channel, N6ARA Electronics. And I've been going through the process of like, I found this antenna design. It looked really cool. It's super popular in Japan. I made my own version of it and then I kept iterating on it. And I've been documenting that whole process. And throughout that process, and just to quickly describe, it's a whip antenna. It's mostly a dummy load. But it tunes up between 10 meter and 40 meter and works on all the bands in between.
I heard that there was a guarantee from N6ARA Electronics that this is the highest performance 20 meter antenna.
Totally. Yeah. Yes. And my last video dropped in April. And I've, I think a lot of the viewers, I'm still getting emails like every other week going like, when's the next update coming? Turns out I went on a big side quest because in the last video, I made this like just blanket statement that the counterpoise, which you can add to this antenna, makes performance worse. And yeah, I know exactly, right? And it's super like a big head scratcher, right? And you're like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And genuinely, every observation I had with the counterpoise, I got 0 contacts.
Really?
And so, yeah. And then no counterpoise, tons of contacts. But that didn't sit well with me, right? Like I was about to make the 3rd episode and release it and like be like, okay, I removed the counterpoise lug. We don't need that. Remove that $1 part off the board.
Right.
And I'm like, nah, this isn't right. And so like went down this rabbit hole of like, let's try to simulate this. So I like learned HFSS and like tried to do an antenna sim of it and then learned how hard that is. And then like, and also the software costs money. So if I'm going to make a YouTube video on it, then I got to like buy the commercial version, which costs like $1 million. Not really, but almost. And anyway, so I was like, simulations, this is not working out. And so I'm like, how do I build a system to test how the antenna performs with a counterpoise and without?
So basically, instead of using classical computing to solve this, you're going to use the quantum computing.
And cool quantum computing.
Right. We will invent a whole new computer.
Yes.
Run it through the universe.
Yes, exactly. No, like, and at the end of the day, that's what matters, right? It's what is in reality. Like, you could simulate all day, but unless you validate those simulations with something real, it's complete bullshit, right? So, and I think in episode 4 of Sofa's on the Air, we kind of brainstormed ideas, and you and Devin had ideas. And both of those were good, valid ways to do things. You could set up an anechoic chamber if you really wanted to. Super expensive. You could fly a drone with a field meter around it.
I mean, yes.
Super cool.
You could do that.
But I was like, I want like something that other people can build and is not super involved. And as I thought through this idea and concept, I refined it to being like, well, what have I seen other people do? Typically, there's a cat fight going on right behind us, or in front of us. Sorry. So I'm like, what have I seen other people do? Like, how have other people solved this problem? And the most common way I've seen is someone will get both antennas. They'll get one radio and a computer, and they'll hook up antenna A They'll run it for 10 minutes, and then antenna B, and then antenna A.
I have done this.
Yeah.
I have done this.
But what's the problem with that?
You don't know any one-time band conditions change.
Exactly.
There's a myriad of variables that you aren't accounting for.
Exactly.
Or you have them set up next to each other and they're actively reacting to each other. Yep.
Exactly. And so to solve that, I was like, well, the best thing you can do is separate them far enough where they don't, like, first, you want both antennas to transmit simultaneously so that any station receiving them is going to go roughly through the same path through the ionosphere.
Yeah, you're still going to have some variability there, but yes, that would be
so
ideal.
if you keep them too close to each other, let's say a few meters, then you get this like constructive deconstructive problem and coupling problem.
Depending on the frequency too, your near field links become a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
So like you're going to get to this, but you kind of have to get these things kind of far apart. Not have the near field interacting with each other.
Exactly. But you can't get them too far apart, right? You can't be many kilometers because now they're taking a different path. So like there's kind of a sweet spot of a couple hundred meters. And I was like, okay, what I could do is try to come up with a concept of like a computer that's running WSJTX and a bunch of like autonomous software, plus a like a radio, something cheap, like a QDX, like a digital radio by QRP Labs, and run Whisper on that. And then set up another one, identical unit, and then hook up the two antennas I want to test and run those simultaneously. And then I was like, wait, hold on. If we're going to build something like this, what if you want to test multiple antennas? Like, why not expand this and not just only do one, but you can maybe performance test 5 together simultaneously to see how they do relative to one another. And funny enough, I was like, okay, the software sounds relatively straightforward. You could write some software to kind of run WSJTX autonomously with Whisper. And then I'm like, well, how do I tell this fleet of antenna nodes what to do, right? And then I was like, well, I could put a cell phone modem in there, but then I have to pay for cell service on all these things. And I'm like, well, I could use Wi-Fi, but the problem is I need to separate these far apart, and Wi-Fi is not good. And I'm like, I could use Meshtastic. And it was like the one like time I'm like, oh my God, I have this hammer and I found the nail.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so I ended up, this is what has happened in the last 5 months of my life and why I have not updated videos, by the way. I have over 500 gigabytes of footage that has edited down to about 3 hours of content that I now have to chop up to make it more consumable. So I promise there's content coming, but I did decide to bring the actual Antennodes today.
So this is a Raspberry Pi with
Raspberry
a
Pi,
proto
so that's the
board,
computer.
and this is okay. So of course you got your GPS.
Yep,
and that's
GPS for time sync, because if you want both nodes to transmit simultaneously, their time needs to be aligned very, very tightly.
And then this is here.
Yep.
And then there you've got a Adafruit LoRa board on top of that, right?
Yep. And it speaks over, I think, SPI to the Raspberry Pi, and then you can set each one up as a node. Right. And so when I go out into the field to test this, I just text, the field, or sorry, the mesh, or the array of antenna testing nodes. Hey, at this time on this band, transmit for this many minutes. And they all acknowledge back, hey, got your message, got the mission plan, we're ready to go. And once I see all of them say that, I just let it fly. And so if you say 3 o'clock, 20 meter, 5 minutes, it'll run for that much time, and it logs all of that. And then it transmits during that period, and then it listens for like the other half of the time.
Right, so you're getting both receiver and transmit testing.
And so now you can test the performance of the antenna transmitting and receiving. And the most important thing in all of this, and I haven't seen this anywhere else yet, at least someone in the comments correct me if I'm wrong. The post-processing tools are important.
So that's the part I'm most interested in. I mean, this is all great.
Yeah.
I love all of this.
Yeah.
The post-processing, I have many questions.
Yeah.
But going back to your near field setup, so you had a QDX.
Yep. Oh yeah. Here's one.
So he's got
here's the other, nicely color coded.
He's USBing into the Raspberry Pi, so you're able to command via LoRa commands. Are you using a custom channel or a private?
No, it's actually channel 0. I need to change it.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm bad.
This on, so somebody could just send.
Somebody could be mean and send stuff. Yeah.
Okay, but you could change that.
How
far away are these from like the other one? So
so
testing 20 meters or something.
So we were testing 20 meters, and they were maybe about couple, I want to say like 50 meters apart, maybe.
Okay.
I wanted to go further, but it was one of those problems where like we didn't want to get too far apart from one another because we were running. In all the video that'll come out soon, it's Mark and I running back and forth between each node and then like yelling at each other. And then at one point we realized, wait a second, we can communicate to each other over 2 meter.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's perfect because Meshtastic. I mean, you can go.
Oh,
way
dude, we
further
could have
than
gone.
that
Yeah, we
with-
could have gone
with
much
Meshtastic.
further.
That is super cool.
Well, and the other thing that was nice is you picked a place where the ground conditions were similar.
Yes.
Because you have Fresnel zone impacts on antenna performance.
Yeah.
So if you're going to test antennas, you also have to make sure that the sort of Fresnel zone around the antenna is consistent between them. I like that you have the Alice and Bob units.
Oh yeah, I had to color code things. And funny enough, the desktop color on each Raspberry Pi matches the color of the unit too.
Oh.
Because sometimes I would SSH or VNC rather into the machine, and I'm like, wait, which machine am I on? So I even color coded the desktops, and I will be making. So this is like a prototyped board. In fact, let me pull up on my screen here. So my plan is to essentially make a circuit board that you can buy and just a hat that essentially sits and has all those electronics on it, so it's going to snap onto your Raspberry Pi. I actually even put an Anderson connector on there that'll take in your bio and a battery and then step that down to 5 volts to run the whole system, so it'll power the Pi, it'll power everything else. That is hopefully coming sometime early next year. I plan to release this board. I'm going to open source it. All the software I'm going to open source as well. I wanted to provide the community something to be able to test and compare antennas.
Yeah.
And my hope is that this will kind of like, everyone will get excited about it and build one and then just contribute back.
So I have tried to source a lot of these little remote whisper boxes.
Yeah.
And this solves a ton of problems that those boxes don't provide. So like the remotable with LoRa ability, that's a huge one because then you can have this mission plan that you work through and you can build in the transmit receive cycles. And I'm assuming then because your Raspberry Pi, you then store that data locally.
Yep. There's an influx database it writes to.
But then also you're going to talk about this, I assume, next. The Whisper database is where it's pulling from.
Yeah.
And this is like a post-processing effort.
Yeah, you get home and you essentially run a go get all my test data script, and it goes to the Whisper system, pulls that, and then merges that with the database that was stored locally on all the stations heard on the node side.
And is this a for the Whisper .net, I think it is, or something. Is this an open API call that they have? Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky because it's not the official one, but it's another one that somebody else made that had really easy to use APIs. And so that's the one I ended up using, and it works fine. The only downside is you have to run the script, I think, within 24 hours of operating.
Yes.
Otherwise, the data disappears.
Yes.
So that it's not perfect, but for most applications, I realize most people might want to go test antennas in a location that is like remote or maybe on top of a summit. But most of the time, you're going to get home that day and get to internet access. And that was the other constraint. I covered this in my video, but one of the requirements was no internet's required to operate the system. Like you literally just power it on, and then you just need Meshtastic, or in this case, I added a button on there too. That's like I call it the go button. So if you don't have Meshtastic, you just press the go button, and it'll autonomously run a default like 5-minute on, 5-minute off program.
And it records for both transmit.
And it records for both transmit and receive.
Or at least receives more.
Yeah, and then it aligns to the nearest 5 minutes or 10-minute marker in time. So
because a lot of it is you're pulling the report data off of the nodes that are sharing, the receiving nodes. So you're already most interested in what the remote receivers are hearing.
Exactly. And this is part of the post-processing tool. Not only does it go and grab what stations heard you, and then it also then in the script will filter what station heard both antennas.
That's exactly
that is the most important thing, because if one didn't get heard, you can't count that data. You want to compare A/B of how they were heard by a single station, and so the filter will go and it depends because you can do multiple antennas if you really want, but in this example, if you had 2 nodes transmitting at the same time and they're both heard by one station, you can then do an apples to apples comparison of like how much stronger did I hear one over the other, because the receiving antenna was the same, the time was the same, the band conditions were same in that specific period of time.
Yeah, so a lot of people have commented on videos that I've made that are like these two A/B comparison, and lots of complaints on, well, you don't know what the other side's radio setup is, so this is an invalid, you know, it's not, and I'm like, well, that doesn't matter, because it's just signal strength, and if you get both sides, then you're literally A to B testing.
Exactly.
So the characteristics of the receiving stations don't really matter. You just need the data, and then you can, you know, do the comparison against it. So I'm quite curious on what you do for how you script out the data as far as like the record set, because that's the part that's the most interesting to me.
And in all honesty, right now it's very janky. Like this whole thing barely works, but I wanted to get like a proof of concept, exactly. Approved, and I've been tracking everything on GitHub. So like we have all the board files, all my like software's on there. And so my plan is to at least get it working enough that most people can build it and then, you know, run it on their own, and then hopefully, you know, contribute back and make it way more robust. Because like as Mark, and as you'll see in the videos I'll be releasing in the coming months, there was a lot of times it didn't work, and it doesn't work until the very, very end when all the systems finally are like working in unison. But it's also fun to see the process of how do you build something new like this, and that's what I'm hoping to cover in the videos.
There's probably some best practices that somebody's gonna, you know, provide feedback on.
Yes,
you really should be capturing data this way, and this is the record set you want. And
please actually
you know, like all that stuff.
My project.
Because so many times you do these whisper tests, and it looks so impressive. Because you get these super long distance, particularly if you map it, right?
Oh yeah, it looks super cool.
You get these super long distance views. That's another thing we need, is we need a good way to take whisper data and shove it into a visualizer.
Yes.
Because if it's outside that 24-hour period, it's gone. The map won't show up anymore. You can't bring it up. I have not found a good way to do that, because I put it in videos. You get the view, and I just want to take the whisper data and throw it in there. And like plot out the two things. And if you had multiple antennas, plot two different colors. You know,
exactly.
That would be perfect.
Exactly.
We need that. We need that.
We're gonna make it happen.
Okay. I'm on board.
As soon as the first boards come out, I'm gonna give you a set, because I'm sure, because I've seen, and actually part of what inspired us was also watching your videos doing the UHF VHF antenna tests, where you go to that park and you set up and you run your testing through that. And I'm like, man, it would be so great if this problem was solved for HF. And so
VHF would be more difficult to do.
I feel like
you can still do whisper. You just have to have multiple listening stations that you probably have to set up
yourself. Because like, who's listening on whisper?
But the nice thing about VHF and UHF is it's very simple, because most of the time it's pretty close to line of sight, and so the way that you're doing it is a really sensible thing to do. You don't have ionosphere to worry about. So you don't have the same type of time dependent path. For the most part.
Yes.
I mean, unless you're near LAX and you're using a Yagi.
If you're talking VHF, UHF, it would be the programming to get. So let's say you had to do like 5 antennas. You need like 5 of those, and they'd all have to be on their own whisper slices. So it'd be like a lot of prep to get it ready, and then you have to set it up on a board, you know, all next to each other, and then they kind of blast at the same time, and you'd have to have your other receive station receiving it to be able to get all the things, which you could do. There's no reason you couldn't do that.
And it's actually, you just reminded me of something you mentioned earlier, which is you can buy these little whisper beacons, or like whisper light or something like that. I forget what it's called. And I actually originally was just going to use one of those and then wrap my own software around it. And I learned they don't actually push that much power out. I think it's like less than half a watt or maybe a watt or something like that. And what was interesting was this QDX is 5 watts out, and the way that tiny Gawant antenna in particular works is it actually relies on the losses in the core, and things heat up. Like, I know it's nuts. I'm not joking. It really is a dummy load. Like, and I'm going to advertise this when I eventually start selling kits. Like, look, this is not a top performer, but you know, it's a fun antenna. And the thought was like, well, if I'm going to
get the N6ARA hand warmer.
But it became important. I realized like it became important to make sure that the power going into the antenna you're testing is real. Like, it's the real operating power. Because cores get hot, things saturate, SWR goes high, like things may not work so great at higher power levels versus lower power levels.
I found this out a very silly way about 5 years ago, right when I started doing field operations. I wanted a 2-meter filter. And so I went on Amazon. I bought a 2-meter filter.
The Amazon specials.
And I started using it. It was actually a really good 2-meter filter. I put it on a Nano VNA, fantastic shape, like S21 looked exactly like you'd like. and I put it on my handheld, and I could receive like gangbusters.
Oh yeah, I bet you could.
And nobody could hear me.
Yeah.
And nobody could hear me. And finally, I did the relevant test, which was attaching a power meter to the output.
Yep.
And wouldn't you know it, there wasn't any power coming out. It was just a hand warmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's
yeah,
funny
you're
you
not
say
kidding.
this.
That real amount of power is fundamental. You have to do it.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say his name because he's I don't know if he's ready to talk about it, but I know someone who's building a 2-meter filter right now, like similar to the SOTA Beams one.
Oh.
And because they're kind of hard to get. I think they're sold out right now too.
Well, not only are they sold out,
we need the ability to have different connectors on that.
yes, I know.
Please.
He's aware of that mystery
Okay.
and
I'm on his waiting list.
you are okay. Good.
It was like the first thing I did. As soon as this mystery individual announced the project, I was like,
I'm sure you know, most folks watching maybe probably know who he is. But the thing, we met up for drinks the other day, and I gave him this like one little inline power meter / SWR meter.
The one you make, yeah.
No. For 2-meter 440, it's like a off Amazon. Actually, I think I found it on your channel or somebody else's channel.
Okay.
Because you know the problem of if you have a whip antenna, you put it on the VNA and it's like, whoa, it's really high SWR. What the hell? And it's because the capacitance of your body's not part of the equation. And this power meter in general just is like an SMA to SMA, and it sits between your radio and your whip antenna. And so when you key up, it'll read out what the actual SWR is with the real power going into the antenna.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
which makes way more sense.
Yeah. So I gave that to him to like, I'm like, you know, it looks good on the VNA, but it would be really interesting to see how it does with like real power flowing through it. And it does heat up. Like when you're building a bandpass filter, the energy has to go somewhere.
Right.
So yeah. Anyway.
And the sort of reference 2-meter filter design for this has 3 dB of insertion loss.
Oh.
And that's the best thing you can buy on the market that can take 5 watts.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's one filter that's available that has slightly lower insertion loss, but it can't take more than 300 milliwatts, I think.
Yeah. I've seen some of these. They're like, they use like some saw filters.
That's not
for lab measurements and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Not
I
for
hit
operating.
up the company that supplies that one, and I asked if they could change the specs for me. And it was the same response I got from Flex Radio when I asked for a DC powered
Just no.
Aurora. No.
Just no.
Well,
Just
they actually
no.
got back to you.
In a sense. I feel like complete and utter ignoring of all emails and phone calls and messages is its own form of response from Flex. The filter company actually wrote me back and asked for a market analysis of the addressable market for that specific filter type.
What?
I told them what it was, and they said there's not enough SOTA operators to make this economically viable. No.
Oh, screw the economic viability.
I wonder. I mean, how much would it be to work up something like that?
They already have a design. They would just need to basically slightly upsize the inductors.
Okay.
It's not a huge problem.
No.
But the addressable market's too small.
I mean, okay.
That's what my entire business is. I address the tiny businesses or the tiny market.
Right. Our
Cottage industry versus major.
They don't care.
Short plug for N6ARA Electronics.
Oh my God.
The maker of the tiny paddle, the tiny
paddle.
MIDI, the tiny SWR, and the tiny profit.
The tiny profit.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
No, I don't know what profit is. That's not in our books.
Oh, the tiny profit. Is that?
That's
Yeah.
what you say.
Yeah, no,
It really is tiny profit. My margins are. I actually asked. I think it was one of those like nights when you've making dumb decisions, like asking ChatGPT how to run your business, and I was like, how much should I be selling these things? By the way, I'm like, kind of barely making ends meet, and it's like, oh yeah, you're like doing it too raw. Like, you got a 3x how much it costs you to build this thing, and I'm like, no one's gonna buy it for that price. Like, I price my stuff based on like what I think it's
Every
worth.
one of these $100,000.
Yeah, right. Like, yeah.
You only need to sell 5.
ours over here adding like a 10% margin to the price of raw polylactic acid.
Right.
Oh man.
For the Ormoo, who is wandering around here and doesn't know what 3D printing is, polylactic acid is a common low temperature feedstock used for 3D printing.
Otherwise known as PLA.
PLA.
Yeah.
Whereas
Alright.
I think
Huh?
some of your products use higher temperature.
No, I use
materials.
PETG. PETG is more
Right.
robust in like outdoor applications. Not ABS. ASA is the other
Yeah.
one. I know like Joshua uses that on all his
Right.
covers and stuff as
Yeah,
well.
and if you're lucky enough to own any of the fine products from N6ARA Electronics,
Thank you.
I always have this in my pocket.
Do you really?
Never be without
Oh,
it.
I don't have the cover. That's
Oh,
cool.
no way.
I haven't printed one of those. Mine was one of your first.
Yeah, I think I gave you
earlier
like one of the
ones.
very
Yeah.
first ones. Yeah.
I did print a new case just because I wanted something real flashy.
Yeah,
But if you send me the print, I'll print this.
Yeah,
Is this
absolutely.
print-
It's on printables now. I'll send it
okay.
to you.
Yeah,
What I found was I actually broke the USB connector on my tiny MIDI. So for those who don't know what it is, it's a little like USB powered Bluetooth device that connects to your phone and has built-in capacitive touch paddles that let you send Morse code. It also has a 3.5 millimeter jack, so you could plug in your own external key for practice or for operating an SDR. And so I usually keep this with me, and I actually ended up breaking my USB-C connector off the board because like it was in my pocket with my keys.
I think that
Yeah.
I bent mine a little bit.
Yeah.
I've got to open it
That's
up
okay.
and take a look at it and see
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I need to resolder it. But
So, and immediately after that, that was like kind of in the beta testing phase of the product. Oh, do you have it hooked up?
somewhere, someone's Flex radio is transmitting on CW.
the cats think it's food time.
Oh, they do. When the
Oh,
cats hear
no.
Morse code, they think they're going to get fed.
Yeah. Okay.
So while Ara explains this, it just plugs into your phone. This is a practice app.
It's like a KH1
Yeah.
almost. Nice.
Close.
Move.
Oh,
Ormoo.
I misspelled Ormoo.
Ormoo. Oh no. It's lots of fun, and
There we
like
go.
you can use
Ormoo.
it kind of anywhere. And yeah, so I
they're great.
ended up breaking the USB connector, and then
There has to
immediately
be a
designed a
better
cover
way.
for it. Yeah, exactly. And so
Yeah.
now I have the cover. So I'll get you
So now
sorted.
there's
Oh,
the
yeah, just
Ta-da!
send me the print. I'll have
Yeah.
it. I'll
Yeah,
have it
yeah.
done.
Hell yeah.
When I get home.
Awesome.
Batch up the print.
Okay.
Anyway, you could charge substantially more for those, and people would buy them
I know.
because they're amazing.
I actually designed a newer version. I'm yet to release. It's just USB for lower latency, and just
Oh,
enumerates
sure.
as like a HID device or a MIDI device.
Yeah.
And like it brought the cost of production way down. So
Yeah, I
like I'm
bet,
hoping to put that out there and maybe lower the price a little
I
bit.
mean, I can easily send it 30 words a minute with your current version. So
Yeah.
the new version is for the real QRQ
yeah.
enthusiasts.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's why you needed to change it? Because
Well,
you can't send over 30 words a minute?
Yeah,
Oh my
it is a
goodness.
part
niche
of
market.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very niche part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we move on to the next topic? Club leadership.
Club leadership.
Okay.
All right.
All right. As you know, I really like our W6TRW club,
Yes.
and I like our club leaders, one of whom recently produced a harmonic.
Yeah. Yes.
And that
That's
has
an interesting way of saying that he had a kid, but yes. I didn't know what you were throwing down.
it's his first harmonic.
It's his first harmonic.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the result is it's constrained his availability. And the club has been doing fantastic things. And to a large extent, it's because this particular hold on.
There you go.
Refuel.
Little
Refuel.
lubrication.
Got a little bit of IPA.
La 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 la. Particular individual has spent hundreds of hours working for the club.
Easily.
Shit.
And what I'm trying to figure out now is how do we make the club more sustainable? And I think the path to do it is by getting more people in the club. We have over 100 members. By getting more of those people to each do maybe a thing that they're interested in, let passion fuel the club. And so I'm trying to figure out how do we invite people into leadership roles
Yeah.
and empower them to really do cool stuff that they're interested in. What are your thoughts?
Yes. So yes, I agree. That would be wonderful. The problem is that you're almost talking about rewriting the genome of human beings and how they work in groups.
Can we do that?
Can we do that?
Can Ara proto board, something to go on Raspberry Pi.
Can we put
use Laura?
We need Meshtastic here, guys.
Yeah.
Can we put a hat on the humans?
Yes.
Yeah, like the brain slugs
Maybe out of
from
tinfoil.
Futurama. The problem ultimately is whenever you get into these community type groups, 5% are the people that do all the work.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the way it works. Whether it's your local government or the local ham club, that's human nature, right? It really is human nature. And so you almost have to have, who was it? It might even have been you that were talking about this, where you like require term limits. Were you the one that was talking about that?
We were talking about it because somebody else was talking about it. It was one of the guys running for section, ARRL section.
Yes.
John Kitchens. Yeah.
So the thought basically is that you want to require term limits in all things and actually keep them relatively short terms, because that forces the person in the lead role to succession plan. And generally, I mean, we see this in my work. People do a bad job of mentoring, just in general.
Yep.
And it's no different where it's a ham club or anything else, as people get so focused in the doing things to completion that they don't take enough time to think about what would it be like if I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
And have I described how one might do the job I was doing on their own for the first time, never have done it before? Never, of course not. No, we never do a good job at that. And then you're like, okay, well, let's just chop up this baby 18 different ways and give everybody a little, and that's their responsibility, and we'll raise one baby that way.
Do not actually chop up babies.
Well, it doesn't work that way either, right? Because ultimately, all of the major events that, say, the club supports, like field day, right? Field day. You still need like a person at the top. And they're going to spend an absorbent amount of time in that area. And there's lots of volunteers to support it, and they all have a job. But that size difference of commitment and time that they put in, it's just not equal. It's just not equal. So I don't know how you cracked the nut on this one, but it is incredibly challenging. And by the way, it fundamentally goes to human nature.
Let me reduce it to a specific.
Okay.
So let's say that you have somebody in the club who is interested in SOTA.
Mm-hmm.
But is not yet a SOTA operator.
Okay.
How do you empower that person to organize the event where they themselves will learn the thing that they're interested in?
This is like
is
the
that even
strap
possible?
machine. This is like the machine that builds itself.
It's a machine that builds itself. Well, ultimately, as hams, we are the machines that build ourselves. We're not getting paid to do this. All of us are interested in learning, or we wouldn't be in the hobby. So I think there's some appetite there.
Oh, you got to break down. We've talked about this, actually. You got to break the concept that when you have an event, the one who's the most experienced or is experienced needs to be the one that leads it.
Right.
Instead of it being like a brainstorming session. Like, we don't know what we're doing, guys. Let's get together and not know what we're doing together and figure it out faster.
Right.
Like that's kind of what...
Like literally every meeting ever.
Right. Yeah. In an engineering space, you have a problem. It's never been solved before. How do you solve it? You bring people who have similar skill sets together, and they brainstorm, come up with proof of concepts or not, plans for proof of concepts, and then they go off and try, and then they reconvene and go, did we solve it? No, not at all. Were we closer? A little bit, right?
Yep. So I guess I'm trying to figure out, how do you create a structure and flow out the knowledge to the people in an organization that this is something that you're inviting them to do? And it's...
Obviously, this is we got to make a Confluence page.
Yeah.
Oh my SharePoint.
We need a Jira ticket to track this.
Slack. This is, I'm assuming, a 2-week sprint that we got to get on to make true, because we need metrics.
Is there going to be a Scrum board?
There has to be a Scrum board. Yeah, there has to be a Scrum board. I expect everybody at PI planning on Monday.
Yep.
You better be there, or you're all going to get written up. If you had the solution, Mark, we could solve everything problem on Earth, basically. It's literally passion is what drives people to take on leadership roles. And it's either the passion that they're actually interested in it, or they're the type of person that knows if I'm not doing it, it won't get done the way I want it. So I have to go do it.
Yeah.
Right? They don't want to do it, but they know if they don't be the one that leads it, it won't get done.
I feel like you're describing way too much of my life right now.
But that's human nature in a nutshell. It's like these problems are fundamental. It's ham club, work, relationships, whatever it is. That's the way we be doing out there as humans. Like that's just it.
Well, if you have any ideas for how to fix human nature, please leave them in the comments.
I mean, that would be really helpful. Get on that. Everybody watch Chop Chop.
Let's go.
Sofa's on the air, solving humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you know where I'm coming from. Ultimately, I want to backfill the missing hours from the care and feeding of the harmonic.
Right.
And make sure that we don't lose this incredible momentum that we've built.
So it's almost, and this always happens too, is once you realize, oh shoot, we should have been documenting this from day one.
Yeah.
And we didn't, right? So the president ideally probably shouldn't come to the meetings for a little while, or not that, but should sit down and actually go document stuff. Because I doubt we got that. We probably need to put to words all the things that they did, and they're not going to remember most of it. But it'll at least give a starting point for some of these things that they ran, and then we're just going to have to say, who wants to run with this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants to run with this?
And iterate on it too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And please take this document and flesh it out.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
yeah.
skeleton. You need to fill
yeah,
in the
and add
the
your
rest.
own, thoughts and ideas to it. Like, not everybody, like, you can't. This is also another problem I've seen where someone inherits something and they just keep repeating what the thing they've inherited.
So
is. And like
You got to do that though in the beginning.
So I will tell you, when I
but I'm saying, like, you got to add your own flavor and charm to it as well, and listen to what the community wants as well. Like,
So I'm club secretary.
Yes.
When I first was voluntold to do the job as club member number 10 at the time to keep the club alive, I tried to copy exactly what was being done. Because the former secretary was our current club president, and he was doing a good job. And I was like, I'm just going to copy this, and it'll be good enough.
It worked for him.
Yeah, and then at some point I realized, like, ooh, nobody's telling me what I can't do.
see this, but look at what it's done to the club too,
Well,
right? Like,
and it worked
has
really
such a
well. So
positive impact. Like,
so I'm fine with copying as a way to start, as long as people understand that there's a growth opportunity.
yeah. And one of my favorite descriptions of you, by the way, and I think Doug said this, is like every club has a lighthouse, and you have become the lighthouse for the W6TRW.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely,
true.
like, you're the
It is
person
true.
who's going out and, like, someone walks by.
Yelling at boats as they go by.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Like, we've been operating, and, like, someone will walk by and they, like, barely look interested in what we're doing with operating radios. He's like, come over here, check out what we're doing. Like, you literally bring in people.
This is your life now. Get over here. Front and center.
Also, I have a job for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Hold
inherited
this.
a whole position.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There is a lot to be said for just showing up. I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing, is just physically being there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing where it's like, people are going to go off and do other things, whether they want to or not, and things have to change. And you kind of just have to be willing to say, hey, we're going to do this until we get somebody who wants the job. And we expect that when they get the job, it's not going to look like it was when we had that other person. And we give people the
Autonomy.
the autonomy, the latitude to change things. You just all have to be willing to accept that.
So one thing that comes up on your channel periodically is a reference to the sad ham.
Yeah, that's quite a thing.
So how do you define a
Yeah, I was gonna say we should define what it is.
So I didn't come up with this term, and it's a term that existed for a long time, but this was a Randy, not a Rubicon term that got popularized by him.
Randy.
So Randolfo, yeah.
Randolfo.
And you've definitely seen his videos too. He is a
of course, he's
GMRS
hilarious.
guy. He's very hilarious, but I think people, ham radio operators, take him literally. Like, they take him like, this is actually who this is versus it's like a bit. Randy is like, he's a nice guy in person. I've hung out with him multiple times, but it's kind of a bit, and he does make videos that riles people up. And when he riles up the ham radio community, which he's done many times, it's part of his
He
channel.
is good at what he does.
He is good at what he does.
Yeah.
Then when someone inevitably does the actually, and they push the glasses up on their nose and then makes a comment with this long diatribe of, well, that's where you're wrong. The FCC doesn't work this way. This is how it actually works. He just says, oh, you're a sad ham. And then that's it. We're just out of it. Well, because of that, now people are just saying anything they disagree with, you're a sad ham. Whether it's factually correct or not, it's turned into, oh, you're just a sad ham.
It closes the conversation, essentially.
It's a conversation ender.
Yeah.
So it's almost like what started out being a commentary on someone who was like a hall monitor of the ham radio bands.
Yeah.
That was kind of the sad ham, the titular sad ham. The type of guy who would... I've had this happen. You go to a club meeting and they'll say like, oh, I watched your video on this. And actually you screwed up here. You should have done this. Or, did you know about this book? And why hadn't you read this? And like, that is very not helpful.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're kind of talking themselves up.
Yeah.
I get that. It happens. It happens all the time in the comments.
Yeah.
And then that would be the titular sad
So the
ham.
reason I bring that up is because when we're trying to build club leadership, the new person isn't going to be us. And I feel like all of us, in stepping back, have to not be the sad ham and give room for new people to experiment, try stuff, and for us to not tell them like, this is how you got to do it.
Yeah, and sort of to add to that is like when you're a newbie, and I'm actually speaking from personal experience. When I was in high school and I first got my ham license and I joined like a ham club, I saw the sad ham and other person interaction going on, and like I wasn't even part of the conversation, and it completely like turned me off to the hobby at one point, because it was like, oh gosh, like if I'm not technically savvy enough, like I can't fight these fights. Like I don't know anything about this stuff. Like I'm gonna back away. And so to an extent, you kind of have to filter or throttle that from your community.
It's the culture of the club that either allows that to thrive.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
It's not allowed, right? That's really what it comes down to.
So we really need to build a welcoming environment to bring people in.
We have one.
Yeah,
You guys have
incredibly
you
well.
guys
feel
have a
like we're
great
doing
club.
pretty good.
I'm a part of the club too. We have a good club.
Great.
Forgetting that.
One of my favorite things about ham radio in what it teaches you is that you've got this VFO dial, and if somebody is sad,
You just
you
spin
can
it.
just hit the dial and they go away. And that actually works in a lot of life, where you can just be like,
Nah.
my VFO. Oh, look, my
That's the equivalent of putting the AirPods in.
Yeah.
with,
Yeah,
with,
like,
with the
what?
sound isolation.
look at that. My
Changing the VFO.
my VFO's drifting.
Oh no.
Oh no. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to having fun on 7.205 now.
1.20. Oh, the frequency I don't usually tune to. Yes.
Right off frequency.
Yeah.
Speaking of switching frequencies, do we want to switch frequencies to the next topic?
I think you're in charge of this
Was
one.
that a segue?
No. It was a ham radio.
What? I don't get it.
Obscure product reference.
Oh, like the segue, the little whoop 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 wheel thing?
What are we talking about?
Okay, all right. Topic number...
I smell toast. Am I having a stroke? What is that?
I don't know. I was trying my best here. All right. Patreon questions was the next and
all right.
final question.
Like questions from Patreon.
From Patreon. So we have Patreons. We do have a
Call them
Patreon.
patrons.
Patrons.
Yeah.
I'll figure this out eventually.
If you have a small enough number, it's singular.
Patron.
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 That's a tequila.
No, we have
Patron. Right.
we have successfully built up to a plural Patreon.
Oh.
Yes. Actually, how many members do we
Plural numbers.
actually have? How do you look this up?
Well,
Like, I don't even know how
Ara
to use
looks
the
that up.
dashboard.
We actually had a question from Josh
Wait.
Kilo.
Oh, from me?
Oh, okay.
I
Echo
wrote myself my
9.
own questions. That's
Delta-
how you be a good podcast guest.
Even better if you become a patron. No, Josh KI6NAZ
Okay.
and
Sorry about the call sign button.
and Josh, other Josh, says, how do you keep the hobby interesting and fresh, considering that you run a huge YouTube channel and has to cover so much of ham radio? What is the next horizon for you?
So I'll take the first part first.
Questions.
I only make videos that I'm actually interested in.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, Don't get me wrong, I will make videos. It's like, oh, another Chinese handheld.
Here we go.
But that can only go for so long, and then I'm like,
Right.
I can't. I need a 6-month cooling off period.
Yeah.
I got to do something else. But generally, like my live streams, I'll follow the things I'm interested in. Usually apropos of whatever news is going on. Like if something pops up, hey, we got a VFO variable portion of the 60-meter band. I got to make a video on it, right? And like
And
that's
you did it
huge.
so quickly. Like I remember the news came out, and I'm like, did this guy just get home, film the whole, like read up on it, film the whole thing, and push publish in like a few hours? It was so quick.
Yes,
it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, and like I honestly look at your channel for that. Like now, like because I just know like, oh, Josh is probably gonna cover this soon.
No
No
I
pressure.
have been on YouTube since 2006. And so
A year after YouTube existed
yeah.
or started.
No, I wasn't serious about making videos then.
Yeah.
But in 2015, I started daily vlogging, and I did that for over 600 days straight, unbroken, including the birth of my second child.
Good God.
I recorded the C-section
Oh my God.
and edited it that night in the hospital.
Wow.
Did the censoring, showed Leia, she approved it, went live.
Wow.
Yeah, every day. I did not miss a day. From that, I learned how to very quickly turn
Yeah.
content out.
Yeah.
And there are 3 major things. I have a video set up. I have multiple good cameras. I have a good live stream set up now. I've got a brand new computer, but I had a good one before. But I can record on that saved live stream computer and get video very, very quickly to my editing station.
Yes.
So I'm literally recording live to a very large collection of drives, and I can take that and I can start editing it immediately. But there's something from simply making a lot of content that I self-edit. The way I talk, how I like just what I did there, the I try not to do that when I make a video. Just shoot the shot, go straight to the network drive, drop it into Final Cut Pro, snip, 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 throw in some overlays, and I'm
Transitions,
done.
boom,
I'm done. So that video probably took me maybe 2 hours.
Wow.
Maybe 2 hours.
You know, it's funny you say this because, like, I feel like when you haven't made a YouTube video, it's hard to appreciate getting a good workflow down. Like, I have spent so much time, like, even what you were just saying about recording something, and I record to an SD card, and I gotta take the SD card out, plug it into my machine, figure out which one of the videos it was, pull that out. Like, just streamlining that process makes such a difference in, like, reducing the activation energy required to make that video happen.
It's only something that comes from doing.
Yeah,
It's got to be to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the first part.
And you also encouraged me to start doing that same thing. By the way, if you haven't actually gotten to sit down and drink beer with Josh, which everybody should do at some point in their lives, pro tip, if you're a ham, find Josh, drink beer with him.
There's another ham wants to hang out. Answer some YouTube questions. I'll be back later.
Well, hold on.
Hates this one thing.
I'm only saying this because on one of your last podcasts, you said if you want to have a good club, just have Adam give a talk at it.
That's awesome.
I do feel like you're inviting this. Anyway.
I did say that.
You
for
did.
Adam. Yeah.
You did.
Who's also incredibly busy. He's an incredibly busy guy.
Anyway, one of the first pieces of advice you gave me was just make videos. So, so in the last 2 years, I've put up 130 videos.
Dang, dude.
Last
2 years.
Good. Yeah, good.
So I've been averaging roughly a video a week-ish, plus some shorts.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
the result is I used to spend an entire weekend to put up 5 minutes. And now for a basic activation, like that coffee video I put up, which was a fine video. It wasn't fancy, but it's fine, right?
Yeah.
You don't know when YouTube algorithm's going to hit.
Well, and
Like
so
you could spend 18 hours on making the best video. It's like your child, your second harmonic.
Yeah, yes.
that you upload, and it just YouTube's like no, nah. And then you put something that's just total garbage out to you, and it just blows up, and you're like,
Yeah.
so
don't know. I have no idea.
So the coffee video, I got that thing. I did the hike. I made the coffee, drank the coffee, activated the mountain, came home, edited the video, and I had it.
Came on my fundraiser.
And I had it uploaded before I started your fundraiser, and then we shot for 12 hours straight. And it was like a chill day.
Yeah, just a chill day.
Yeah.
Just some bros hanging out.
Yeah.
So going back to tying some of this together, we call this a callback in the biz.
Ooh, nice.
So meet me in 3 months at this parking lot. We'll go do a SOTA activation, and then we'll come have some beers and burgers, and we're done, right? So many people ask me, Josh, how do you make a YouTube channel? How do you make a channel go big? How do you do blah, 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 blah? I don't know, because I didn't do anything special. I just made videos. I made videos that I like to do. I constantly improved upon that, whether I wanted to improve or not. I just got faster. The only way is to do it.
Yep.
So how do you get people to do something that's on the air? You get them to do one. And then you get them to do another one and another one and another one. How do you get people to do, or how do you get better at making YouTube videos? You make a YouTube video and then you just don't stop. You just don't stop. And then you're going to get better. You can't not get better.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and I hit the mic. There it is. I did it the first time. Dang. It's so great way to cap moving my body around.
Yeah. All right. So that was the first half of Josh's question. The second half is, what is the next horizon for you, Josh?
For me, I don't know. It's usually just chasing whatever I'm the most interested in most of the time. If anything, I've only gotten like busier because now I find myself in leadership positions at work. And so like timing wise, my oldest is in Scouts proper. So we're actually camping and backpacking, once a month. My youngest will be joining them soon. So it's like, I'm only losing time. I don't know. I have to become even more efficient.
I am genuinely in awe that you can run all this. Like, you have like full-time job, full-time like YouTube and kids and a life. And like, do you sleep?
Not well. I mean, you can probably see it. It's been getting worse and worse. The bag's under my eyes.
Dude.
But
And you still activate things. You still do the radio.
Yeah. I hear you guys like, oh, I did this yesterday, and then it was some, we just went out and did it. I'm like, God, I wish I could do it. I don't know. YouTube making is as much a hobby as like amateur radio is to me.
Mm.
It's something I enjoy. I enjoy making the videos. I have fun with it. That's why I do it. I don't watch TV really. I don't do many other things other than go camping with the Scouts or whatever. The focus is on the things I like to do, and that's radio, and that's making videos. I mean, that's really what'll be different for me.
Keep on.
Keep on keeping on until I can, do some. I don't know. I don't have desire to change much other than always improving the process.
Yeah.
I do have an inbuilt desire to make the process more efficient always. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great answer.
Well, thank you.
We have a couple more questions on this list.
From where? Where is this?
This is from Patreon.
Patreon, which we should plug in here. Just gonna try to put this in because I always forget. So if you go to patreon.com/sofasontheair, we do have 2 membership tiers. We have the Trailhead for $5 a month, where you get to ask our guest questions on Discord.
I like Trailhead versus and Ridgeline.
Yeah, and then we have the Ridgeline for $20 a month, where you can actually choose and help choose who sits here and who we fly in.
For $100 a month, you can fight the guests in the parking lot at a Waffle House.
Hold on, what do we call that one?
Whoa, we are not based in Ohio.
I can add that right now. All right, what's our next?
We're not having a fight club tier.
No.
The next one is from Tom, a longtime member, the Alpha 3, Tango Zulu. As a ham that reaches a lot of newer hams through YouTube,
yes,
what are some common misperceptions you see about ham radio that come up most often? Ham radio misconceptions with new hams.
Misconception, it's not so much a misconception like they have a true understanding of it, but their goals are unrealistic. The goal that I get the most, and I made a video on this because it'll help me out in the future. I just link people to the video. Here's my thoughts on it. Is, hey, Josh, I'm really into ham radio, and I'm going to get my whole family their license, and then I'm going to be able to talk to my kid during a disaster, and they're 800 miles away. What do I buy? And you're like, buddy, we got to go all the way back. First of all, ham radio isn't something that you'd like drag your whole family into. They may show interest in it, and they may want to. They may want to, but a lot of times the level of interest and activation you have is not something you can get from them. Like Leia is a general. She has activated a Parks on the Air with me. Has she ever really been like, Josh, let's go activate this new park I just found out? Heck no. Heck no. She's not doing that, right?
Yeah.
And my kids have shown interest and they play around with GMRS radios, FRS radios, that kind of stuff. But they haven't like said, I've studied, I'm going to go take the test. And you can't really force them to, right?
Yeah.
So if in a disaster situation, yes, emergency is, you can use whichever mode of communication you can in an emergency. In reality, is the emergency that big that it's covering 800 miles between you and your child? Probably
not. Yeah.
So you need to consider other forms of emergency communication. That's one of the ones I get a lot. Honestly, God, that is a really good question. I know I have better answers for it, but I'm drawing a blank.
Well,
a lot
keep
of them are
thinking about it.
Chinese radio-related answer questions too. Preconception on like, oh, the Baofeng is the best radio ever. You don't need a Yaesu or an ICOM. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on the radio. So that's generally
for the most part,
pretty true. They've gotten a lot better. The spectral purity has gotten much, much better. But if all you're doing is just like hitting a repeater, that's probably true. It's the concept that people so confidently, it's like Dunning-Kruger, right?
Yeah.
They're so confident that yes, the Baofeng is the best radio, but that's because they've only done this very narrow thing. They've only really cracked the surface of like what this is all about. And until they get a little bit deeper, they won't know that answer is not really true, right? So it's kind of like, Am I there to tell them, have you thought about satellites? It's I don't care about satellites.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
you don't yet. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's the perfect radio. If you ever change your mind, let me know.
We'll soon discover how big the iceberg really is. Yeah.
Misconceptions, people.
We can always loop back.
Oh, yes. Digital VHF, UHF handhelds are all internet connected. So many people believe.
Wait, what?
Think that,
So many people believe that the digital modes like DMR is just using the internet, and that they can't be used for simplex.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yes, there are plenty of repeaters that are internet linked, but the radios themselves, no internet connection. You could take two radios, simplex, DMR, Yaesu System Fusion, whatever. That's a big one. There's more.
I feel like there's like this is like a whole video. You could do like top 10 misconceptions.
SOTA side slant. You can get a badge for doing digital voice in SOTA.
Yes, I've done it once.
And Yaesu C4 FM counts.
Yeah.
So and we have a lot of C4 FM handheld owners in LA.
Yes.
So anybody that has a Yaesu digital radio can get that badge if they go to SOTA.
John NT6E. I
Let's-
think I got one. I've only done it once, and I got the badge because one time I contacted John on D-Star. Like we just went to DV mode and we did
That's
a
gotta be
simplex.
a pain to be able to even get four.
We
Do
pre-coordinated
you
it.
have to get 4 contacts with the digital
Just
mode,
one.
Or you
Just
have to
one.
Just one.
activate?
Just one, yeah.
Just one. Oh, that's not hard.
Just
then.
one.
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's not
easy
hard.
to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't imagine
By the way-
finding 4 people.
No,
to
that's
just
a lot.
not only be able to just switch over to the frequency you're on, but have a simplex channel.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah.
people don't have simplex channels.
Okay, so side slant.
Oh my gosh.
Last night during your live stream, I was working MSK 144, and I got NT6E
What?
on MSK 144. So I hit him up. I hit him up after the live stream, and I was like, "Hey, John.
What is he doing hanging out
Hey,
there?
John. Do you
That's
want
awesome.
to? Do you want to chase me on SOTA?"
Is that a badge?
I don't know, but there's
SOTA
one way
people,
to find
please?
out.
Can we add that?
Because I was telling him if I go operate from the Santa Monica Mountains
Oh my God.
with a 6-meter Yagi and bounce MSK 144 off the planes flying out of LAX,
Yeah, boy.
we could work plane scatter SOTA from Temescal Peak,
Dude,
line of
let's do
sight
this.
to
Pretty
LAX.
funny.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
It's really dumb, and
I
I'm
mean, do you have line of sight to him? You might just be able to point at him.
yes, but that's not the point.
I see. Okay.
I really want to see the little like schmear in the waterfall.
If
you know?
anything, I would say like go over the mountains, over the national forest, and like so that you can't possibly work him direct, and then like aim at
So we're gonna
meteors or
use
something.
Hey, what's that to identify a very bad location.
Ah, there you go. There you go. Dude, that's
super
such a
sweat
good
zone.
idea. You got to do a video on that.
There you go.
Stay tuned if I ever make it work. All right. Second question, also from Tom. How has engaging with the ham radio hobby and community changed you as a person?
Oh, buddy, this is actually a really good one. So when I got started, started, and I said, nope, we're going to do ham radio crash course. So it wasn't, my channel wasn't always ham radio crash course. It was Hosh-Nazi. It was a completely different name, just a nickname I had.
Yeah.
I was a outsider. I was a maverick in the radio space. Nobody knew who I was. And so I'd go to like Ham Fest and nobody knew anything about me. They didn't know me at all. So I was just doing all kinds of little mavericky things.
Yeah.
You had to buy your own beer.
I like brands wouldn't talk to me. It was a whole thing. And it was great because I could just kind of give my opinions about anything. There wasn't these weird human connection relationships that are now in place where it's like I'm almost second guessing myself. It's like, do I, if I review this thing and I'm not,
happy with it. Yeah.
By the way, I will always try to be objective about anything that I review, but in the past, that was a lot easier for me because who cares? I don't really know this person, whatever.
Yeah.
But now I almost be like, I message them often if I review something. I'm like, do you understand this does this? Like, this has happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we know. So, go ahead and make the video, but tell them we're working on it, or that wasn't really the feature that we put the most time in. And we'll do firmware updates in the future to fix that. And you go, okay, I'm gonna say that, and they're like, yeah, go ahead and say it. But now it's like I'm known to people. Like I get stopped and
your word has like a lot of weight to it now.
It's a little scary.
Yeah,
it's a little scary. I'm a little bit more gun shy to like, not like just. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't have a problem being wrong in things. I am wrong when I make statements, but you end up spending a little bit more time to make sure that you're putting out the right content. You're making sure to answer the questions. Where in the past, I know that I've probably been vaguer in some things because it doesn't really matter. We're not doing the deep dive. If it's a deep dive video, then yes, we're going to be focused. But if it's just like get the information out as quickly as possible, so people are looking at this when they haven't looked at it before, it's like, yes, but now I have to be even more methodical and concerned. So the mere fact that so many people watch now, it's not like where it was in the beginning where I could kind of just say and do whatever I wanted. There's positives and negatives to that, but I
imagine, it's like, it's gotta be a double-edged sword because that also opens a lot of opportunities of like working, like getting to try a bunch of new radios and establish those connections.
I mean, but that in itself is good and bad.
Exactly.
Right? Because then I like, oh, where'd you get that radio? Someone sent it to you, right? It's like, well, yes, actually, this is a demo radio, and I will be sending it back to them because it's still a $1,000 radio. I have another one that's just like it. This is just the newer model. Hint, hint on the video that's coming up. So what does that mean? That I'm not going to be honest? No. But at the same time, it's a back and forth, right? So I get those comments all the time. Like, well, they said to you, so you can't really be honest about it, what your thoughts are, blah, blah, blah.
But if you're not honest, people are going to stop trusting you, right? So like you have to be, and
that's actually what I tell them too, is like, tell me when I'm not honest. Hold me accountable. If you see something where I'm not being objective, not bashing, right? Because I'm trying not to bash people. I'm trying to be objective when I look at radios. Because honestly, I'm just one guy. I'm not into all the radio things. And so a radio could be functionally sound, but I just don't care about it. So when I review it, I try to think about who it's for and who would be interested in it. It's not for me, but I'm still going to say like, hey, this is what I think. If you like this kind of thing, you'll probably love this.
You did a really good job of that fairly recently, I think, with the new DMR radio that's coming out.
That was an interesting one. I'm going to go back and do an update on that one.
Because you're not a DMR guy.
I'm not a DMR guy.
And yet, I personally was thinking about getting that radio.
It's good. Yeah, I really do like it. I've decided I'm going to get that radio. I'm gonna set it up. I'm gonna load all my Papa System DMR repeaters. I did join the Papa System, so I'll be probably coming to Fullerton for the lunch they do once a month, I think Saturdays. I'm gonna try and hit one of those. But it does NXDN, or will in the future. It has a fantastic airband. The APRS I've heard is a little fussy. That's honestly why I will be doing a follow-on video. People said, you didn't dive into APRS. That's like your thing. Why didn't you do that? And I'm like, frankly, I ran out of time. This was like an intro video and it was already past 20 something minutes.
There's always something. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
you're,
tough.
you're going through it with this whole
Yeah.
with your whole
Yeah,
project.
dude. Oh my God. Yeah.
At some point, you gotta
gotta-
stop and say, second video coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up on the rest of this stuff in the second video, because otherwise the video is going to be 35 minutes. Nobody's going to watch it.
Exactly.
Because live streams, I do live streams, but they're not as popular as the shorter videos. Right. That's seems to be what people like.
By the way, I'd love to borrow that radio when you get it. I have a very specific use case. You remember I complained bitterly about the way contacts are coordinated in the microwave community during contests. There is a movement to use DMR as an alternative to linked analog repeaters.
Okay.
And
Like All-Star? Like All-Star works great.
there's plenty of alternatives. It's not the way that it's been done historically.
Okay.
And I have multiple people who have said that they will use DMR with me if I want to go to a contest and coordinate without the nuisance of the linked analog systems.
Okay.
So
Give it a
all
try.
I need,
Yeah.
all I need is a DMR radio, and then I can give that a shot again.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Great answer. Thank you, Tom, for the question.
Hey, Tom.
We actually have another one from DK06BTM who asks, what are the biggest challenges that come with running the biggest ham radio YouTube channel? I hear it's huge.
Time.
Time?
Yeah.
I have a growing list of ideas of videos in my phone that I can't get to. I have a stack of things that I've purchased potentially on loan that I can't get to. I have just difficulties of when I get in front of the computer and I'm going to do a video or whatever in front of the camera, and Leia goes, "Oh yeah, reminder, we got that birthday party to go to." I'm out.
Yeah.
It's time. It's straight up time. It's the hardest thing. There's many things I'd like to do. I would like to host a meet me at 3 in the morning at this parking lot, and we're gonna go do a Parks on the Air or a SOTA or whatever. I don't have the time to do that. I need more time.
You still just don't sleep, and then you get extra time, right?
So
I've tried it. It's not. It's,
I'm joking. I absolutely don't do that.
So once the folks in the comments have solved fixing human nature for club leadership,
Yes.
they should also fix the 24-hour in a day problem for Josh.
We would just make the day 48 hours, and then we got twice more time.
Or we could clone him.
That would be pretty cool.
You know, that'd be bad. I don't know that you want to clone me.
It goes back to the two Furbies going back and forth together.
If you had two Joshes, how many words a minute could they send on the
15.
Which,
Well,
I do love the follow-up question to this because it's very
Yeah,
related.
the follow-up question is,
What keeps you up at night? It's like the fun. There's no
Video
context.
ideas. Video
Really?
ideas. Yeah. I would literally sit and think of, I'm already putting together, like, oh, I'm going to use that camera. I would do it this way. I would like to do a little intro bit where, I make a little joke. That's another thing is because of the timing, I used to do little bits in the beginning of videos, like little comedy bits and stuff like that. And I just don't have the time to go out and set things up because usually that means I have to move the camera somewhere.
Right. Sure.
I have to set up and I got to do a couple of shots.
Yeah.
I get a wild bug every once in a while to do those, but that in itself takes a lot of time.
And do you formulate all this at night? Like, is that what actually is keeping you up at night, or do you
Sometimes,
like when do you do your formulation?
I don't know. It
just kind of happens.
It's just while I've got extra cycles and I'm not driving home.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. I don't script. I
Okay.
can't.
Yeah.
I've tried.
Yeah.
I don't do it. I just think about the bullets that I want to talk about. And then I kind of just do it. And I've gotten good at just I'll do the bullet and then I'll stop the
Do
record.
it. Yeah.
Having a remote, there's a camera right there. Having a remote to turn the record on and off, big thing. I didn't have
That's
that
a
for
good
long.
idea. I don't have that. That's a really good idea.
I didn't have that, so I would for years I'd go walk over, dude, walk back, do the thing,
And then
oh, I screwed up, walk back, dude, come back, like just a remote, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off.
Brilliant.
If you don't like the clip, turn it off.
Yeah.
Turn it on again.
That's how you don't get, gigabytes and gigabytes of footage too. Because and then scrubbing through all that to find where you wanted to pull the thing and actually put it in the video.
I'm like, yeah, I think maybe I'm really missing out on some cool content. I should just let the camera go.
No.
And just I'll edit it down after the fact. And then you import everything. And it's 3 hours. And you're like, what am I doing?
Dude, that's like my
Am I going to
first
scrub through all of this? No. Just stop recording. Then record it again. Record a lot. Record everything.
Yeah.
But don't just leave it running.
Yeah,
that's what makes POTA videos so long.
I had so much trouble with that in the beginning too, of like knowing when to start recording and when to stop, and like when the take I wanted to use was. And honestly, I think I've used up until now, and I'm still scripting, and I think I will, as time goes on, I'll do less and less scripting. I'm scripting because it's become a safety net for me, because I don't have the muscles that you've trained up, I think, doing this so many times, where you can in your head track what you're going to do and then just say it. For me, I like script because I'm like, I need to tell a cohesive story. And I can't improvise that right now. Like it's just, I don't have those muscles yet, but I hope to get there. Yeah,
that's good.
But it's time consuming.
I make mistakes where I'll forget to do some key thing that I normally do in a review video. I'm like, oh, I forgot to do it. It's like, then I can just say, somebody will call you out and go, well, there's a reason to make a follow-on video. I've only got so much time.
Dude, there's something to be said about that too, by the way, of like just letting that go.
Let yourself fail, man.
Yeah, it's okay.
I always jokingly say they can't all be hot bangers.
That's true.
Just, like
100%.
Every subsequent video can't be better than the previous one. You can't. It's impossible. So stop chasing everyone being the next greatest video and just get good at making videos, telling the story you want to the best of your ability, and then you hit upload. And unless you really screwed something up, let it roll, man. Let it roll. Have fun with it.
Oh, that's such a great answer.
Speaking of having fun with it, I think we made it through all the Patreon questions. Do you have any questions for us before we move on to?
I think we had one more question. I don't understand it.
It wasn't a radio question.
Sorry. Okay. It's all good. Okay, keep going.
So I was moving on to asking us questions.
Ooh.
I wasn't prepared.
Wait, hold on. We're flipping the table?
Oh, we're flipping the script.
Okay.
And by flipping the script, I mean we don't really have a plan. Do you have any questions for us, Josh?
How can we screw up less?
Do you want to know how to put antennas on your house?
Do I have any questions?
Putting him on the spot.
We're literally
I am curious
putting him on the spot.
Like what you invent things basically, right? You got a problem,
go solve it.
You come up with a design, or you come up with like, I got to fix this. Going from I got to fix this to like a design before you even have like a workable prototype. What do you generally work in for that? Like you made a board here, like you've got a board. So do you plot that out on something, or are you just winging it?
Wow, that's a really good question. As with every answer, it's always like, it depends. In this case, I know it's like your favorite answer. Like I'm just like holding a mirror up to Josh right now. No, but it really does depend. In the case of the Antennode, the original schematic to this, I like literally doodled on a piece of paper. And I was like, well, I want to hook up these things together. And I'm like, I went and looked up the pinouts and like I kind of drew it together. I'm like, okay, that looks good.
You're really just connecting GPIO pins to the board pieces for the LoRa and the GPS.
Yeah, and like I hand soldered all these wires based on what I did. And then once I kind of got something working, my goal always, and I feel like I learned this all the way going back to when I was in like first robotics. Whoops.
That was almost a total.
Oh my God. When I was in high school, I did first robotics. And I remember one of the biggest values.
Oh, you did
values? Yeah. Well, shout out to First. Amazing program.
My kids are in Vex IQ.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool. And hopefully they'll do that when they do.
Leia runs the program.
That's so great. And I can go on to a whole bit about First Robotics and the impacts to the engineering community in general. But one of the things that was instilled, at least in my team, was that build a prototype. Like, even if it's kind of cruddy, try to learn the things about it early on. Don't just dive straight into a final design. And so
I love that.
A lot of the times, proof of concept,
Love
get the thing, like it can be seen. I can see the approach of build the final thing too. There's reasons why one would do that in some cases. But in most cases, especially when it's an idea that I'm just kind of noodling about with, I will build a prototype. And in this case, I hand wired it together, got it working. I'm like, cool, now let's capture all the things I learned. Like one thing was oh, I keep having to plug in this USB power and I have to bring a power bank with me. How nice would it be if like I had my Bio-Eno that I could plug in?
Right.
And I could have prototyped that, but I was like, I found a TI chip that does what I want. I can look up the Anderson part. Let's throw that on a board. And I've done a lot of board design. Like a lot of my background is electrical engineering, doing like schematic capture and
So
board
that's a
layout.
big part of it too, is you actually have a background in this. Because you just said,
Yeah.
I looked up a board that does the thing I wanted to do, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
where does one look these up? Is this McMaster-Card? Do I just go, like, that's the one?
DigiKey.
Oh, it's DigiKey.
DigiKey.
Okay.
And,
DigiKey,
and knowing the catalog a little bit too. Like you build these things up over time. Like I don't think one could just instantly go do this having no
I can't.
background,
That's why
right?
I was asking the question, yeah.
And honestly, and there's different tools out there and different methodologies. And then, yeah, for me, usually I will then build after the initial like, cruddy prototype, I'll build a sort of nice, like fleshed out board that I can at least make not just one for myself, but a few to give away to people. And it's amazing how much folks will take a free thing, which is great. But oftentimes if you give it to like engineer minded people or curious people who are willing to give you feedback, like you and Mark, they'll grab the thing, they'll play with it, they'll be like, they didn't do that so well, or they'll find a new way of operating that breaks it that I hadn't thought of or something like that.
I
And
burned
all that
myself.
feedback, you burned yourself on the first Antennode,
Yeah,
the first Tiny Go On.
Yeah, the first one I got a pretty good RF burn on it.
So
You can't do that now.
yeah, and it was really kind of you not to sue me. Thank you. That's all to say. You then take all that information back and you roll it into the next revision. And ideally, you would do a couple revisions until you get to a final product, like I've done here, and then it's time for prime time. And really, honestly, the other thing I think about a lot is the user experience. There's a really great book I absolutely love and I highly recommend to anybody who does design work in any space, called The Design of Everyday Things by, I think, Don Norman. And it talks about all the elements that go into designing, and really there's a human factor in all of this. Like affordability is not from a cost perspective, but from a user perspective. Like if you put a knob there, the knob has to do something. The author, by the way, is really famous for what are known as Norman doors, where if you go up to a door and you go to open it, right, if it has a knob, your instinct is to grab the knob or the handle and pull it or turn it, right? But if it's a push door, your brain's going to get confused. Like, why do I have a handle here when the action is supposed to be push? Like, why didn't you make it a flat pad, or knobs on a?
Oh, right, because yes.
Yeah. So there's all these like psychological things. Like, there's no instruction manual to a door typically, right? Like, no one's going to go read the instruction manual to a door.
Well, there is. There's a sign usually.
Oh, okay. Sometimes yes. There is a good point. Wait, hold on. Actually, sometimes even if there is sometimes there is a sign that says push, but it has a knob, like it has a handle, and even then you grab the handle and you pull on it because like your brain is just like, oh, this is a knob, like a handle. I just need to pull.
The reptile brain.
Even if you
reaches out and takes control.
And so designing a product that considers all the like psychological aspects of like, if there's a knob, the knob has to do something. If there's switches, for example, like on this latest design, the viewers can't see this, but on the knob,
B-roll image.
exactly. There's numbers on the dial to tell you what band you're tuning up to, and then there's a little switch here like H and L for high bands and low bands, and there's an H and L on the dial. So when you want to go to the 10 meter band, you're like, oh, the H means I got to set the H to the H setting, or the switch to the H setting, or operate and tune are clearly labeled, and the SWR light is clearly labeled. And it's not just an LED that you don't know what it does.
Is that the official font too? The N6ARA font. Because you use that font on everything.
I kind of do. It's a KiCad plugin called Kai Buzzard by I forgot the guy's name. A really like cool, wonderful contributor to KiCad. It's the default font, and I absolutely love it. So I've stuck to it. But yeah.
I love that the official N6ARA electronics font is the default.
Yes.
Hey, I like it. It's a good thing. It's good.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the process, and I'll end this with, I found myself I've now been in business for 4 years doing N6ARA electronics. I found myself doing all these processes, designing and iterating and working with the community. I've sort of been operating in the dark and just not documenting it. Like I don't have a blog post. I thought about doing that. And usually I would like post them to Discord or the
Does
SOTA
that rob you
Slack.
of dopamine? It's the you get
Posting it.
you get like success vibes.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And you can't do that.
And
Can't do that.
Well, and yeah, there's something to be said there too. But the nice thing was I would get community feedback through that too. It would not only feel good, but people would be like, "Did you think of this?"
What your thoughts are?
Yeah.
That's Ara right
No. I love feedback. I genuinely do. And I think that's how you improve a product. You listen to the people. You listen to the people who actually use it. And you have to use it yourself. Like I would never design a radio for SOTA if I didn't do SOTA all the time. Like it doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, long story short, and then I found myself like, well, it'd be kind of cool to document this process. And so that's kind of how this whole YouTube channel I started spun out was like, let's document this, because I think at the end of the day, while people like to see the final product, a lot of people like to see the process. And that's what I focused on.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. That your channel is going that way is, I think, a very good one, because you actually have these products, you actually make things, and that's fascinating to, I think, a lot of ham. So that's good.
Thanks.
Mark. Okay, so I thought about this too. While he was talking, I was trying to work on this other side.
What a pro.
There's this movie, Interview with a Vampire, right?
Excellent start as a movie I've never seen.
Go on, I want to know what this is.
I've never
Read the
seen
book?
No?
Okay, so there's this concept.
I'm very poorly educated over here.
Anne Rice, one of her characters is the vampire Lestat. He's a very old vampire, and he will take people of an era, like the current era, and turn them so that Lestat can learn about the current society, because he's centuries old, right?
Uh-huh.
So he would be like of the mentality of where he was. If he doesn't interact with humans, he can't figure out new things, right? So I'm like that on YouTube, right? Because I've been there for so long doing my thing. You have recently kind of gone after making all kinds of cool things on YouTube and on your channel. What has that been like for an up and coming YouTuber? Dealing with, do I do shorts? Do I do live stream? Like, you have been trying everything. Like, you are drilling for oil in every place you can put that bit down in. And I'm like, how's it been? How's it going?
Well, I think the only thing I'd change in the characterization is drilling for oil, because that suggests that you have a place you're trying to get. And
I'm trying to get oil, kids.
Right. In this particular case, this is searching for oil. I don't really feel like I'm trying to get oil. I'm not actively trying to make money or grow the channel. I'm trying to have fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And
well, then what has been the most fun?
And what's been fun is trying all of these different things and just sort of seeing what happens. Because you're dealing with the human factor of what do people actually want to watch and enjoy watching, and how do they react to it. But then there's also all of these algorithmic factors.
It's crazy.
And it is wild, the differences that you see. One thing that's really stuck out is the gender stats on different types of media.
Yes.
In particular, if you look at my channel on an average month, D and I will have 100.0% male viewers.
Okay.
On our long form content.
Meaning a standard 10 to 20 minute video.
Anything from like
and this
90 seconds, 90 seconds to multiple hours. Anything that's over 90 seconds.
That's not a short.
Anything that's not a short.
Okay.
Yeah, anything that's not a short, typically 100.0% male.
Okay.
Interesting, because I know multiple women who watch videos on the channel or claim to, and they have uniformly said that they always show up in the stats as male. So there's something interesting about the way that Google is processing what it thinks gender is.
What? Really?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust no metrics as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much I trust the metrics. But what is interesting is if I switch over and start publishing shorts, it'll be typically between 15 and 40% female.
Really?
Wow.
So I have a friend who used to interact closely with the ads division at Google. And I said, is that normal? Like, is there really that big of a gender split between long form content and short form content? And the answer was like, oh yeah, that's super well known. And so that completely shook up what I was making, because Dee and I are both interested in diversifying what what people see as ham radio. And to do that, you need to actually diversify ham radio. It's not about creating AI images of people and throwing them as cover graphics.
Yeah.
It's about getting women to do the thing and have fun with it.
Engage.
And if you want to do that, you have to do what you said originally when I started making videos, meet them where they are.
I did say that.
You did.
Yeah.
You said very specifically, if you're going to make a video, you got to put it where the people are. And that may not be in club meetings. It might be on the internet. And on YouTube, it's on shorts.
Interesting. If you want to find
if you want to find females, and we also found that cat content does way better than me. I am not nearly as
the internet for it.
Oh,
yeah, cat photos.
Yeah,
right?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
but it is dramatic. People will actively see my face and be like,
Nah.
we're gonna just fast forward past this part, and there's some replays on Ormoo eating a snack.
Really? Okay. Yeah, you do get the metrics. It'll show.
Yeah. The
where
internet
the intensity spots.
The
are.
internet likes cute cats, and they want them now.
And they want very succinct. Right? Yeah.
Very succinct. So that has actually changed how I think about providing content. My base instinct as somebody with a technical background is to make a thorough thing that starts at the beginning, explains the logic, and comes to conclusions with process steps.
Yes. That's generally my feeling too.
And what I have found is if you want people to learn those things, you need to give them something that's substantially less than I would normally make and make it a short. Give them 60 seconds that'll make them get interested enough to go try it. And then they can have the long form content.
So you got to hook them. So the short is the hook, and then that ushers them into the longer form.
You got to have the hook. And in fact, I don't think they even need to come out at the same time. There's a video I've been planning now for 3 months on how to use a modified micro keyer with a hardware modified Quanchang with custom firmware to do QRQ Morse code on 2 meters.
Okay.
What?
I know exactly how to do this.
Okay.
It's not hard. I have all the hardware. I already put out shorts that show this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And so now I'm actually having people hit me up saying, hey, when are you going to make that video? And so there's sort of a backlog of people who actively are expressing interest. So now I kind of just keep that backlog.
Right.
And I've been prioritizing videos based on what impact will it have on the way that people do radio if I release a specific video.
I like that.
So for example, with the 2 meter Quanchang thing, I intentionally released that video 1 week before the W6 SOTA camp out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
And-
like a
and then
bunch of people did the mods.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I sent the video to everybody I knew was going to the camp out.
Yeah.
Everybody did the mod. And then we had a heck of a scene on 2 meter Morse code
Yeah.
because there was a video.
Yes. So that also helps drive things too. Like you literally can drive people to do the thing you want to do and then do the thing.
So,
like the meteor scatter last night.
oh, that was really,
People were like
That was so
out
fun.
there doing meteor scatter. I was like, okay, everybody, go wake up in the morning, and then you're gonna get all these meteor scatter posts. So I went and told everybody how to do it. Then I didn't wake up, so I didn't get the meteor scatter posts.
oh, I did.
Randy did though. Randy, oh man, he got a ton. He sent me
Dude,
images.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I woke up at 6. I did not.
I love this.
But I
about
got
the
a ton of
community,
local
man. That is
people
so
on
rad.
MSK 144.
Yeah, there's
Nice.
people are like, I didn't even know this mode
Yeah.
existed. So you're on that FT8. That was the other thing. Everybody's like, "You're doing FT8?" No.
No.
WSJTX is a suite of different modes of operation. Yeah.
Yeah.
More than just FT8.
Well, thank you for asking us questions. And
You're welcome.
this is Josh from the Ham Radio Crash Course. I think we should plug it.
Yeah, we should plug it.
For everybody who hasn't
Yeah,
heard
in
of this channel yet.
Yeah, go send him some more subscribers.
Yeah,
He's only
please.
got 405.
Yeah. I'll
Oh,
be
sorry.
doing-
1,000.
Yes. I will be doing my annual Christmas light antenna this coming Saturday, next Saturday. So that's always fun. Hope I don't blow up my antenna prematurely. I did that last year. I was very sad.
Oh, no.
About at the halfway point, I flipped on. I hit tune on WSJTX right after I had clicked the amp button on the SDR software, and I sent 1,000 watts right down the wire, blew the antenna up immediately, which stinks because it was a massive delta loop.
Oh,
In my front yard, I built a huge 40-meter, basically, delta loop.
That's
Christmas lights.
amazing.
It was a beast because I built it on this backing piece of wood,
Uh-huh.
and I was using DX Commander telescoping mass.
Oh,
and I got it propped up, and it was hard.
So is this why there
Best performing antenna so far.
yeah.
is this why there was an FCC investigation of an EMP in Cerritos?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But there could have been.
Yeah, it's always really fun because we can kind of see. It's really cool. I think the half wave, the end-fed half waves are kind of the coolest antennas to do this with. So if you get a 40-meter end-fed half wave and you transmit on 20 meters with it, right? So it's you're a harmonic of 20. The light will be at the highest intensity.
at the end because it's the most current.
Well,
right? Or no,
wherever
it'll be in the
middle.
middle. Oh, sorry.
In the
Yeah,
middle.
yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be you can see it, and if you change bands, whoop,
No way. Have you taken photos of this? That would
we
be
did it live.
Oh,
It's in the live video, so it goes. You'll see it, and the light literally goes like whoop.
no
stops and then
freaking way.
That's
That
so
is
cool.
So
rad.
FT8 works really well for that because it's full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
So
so
you fire it off and it goes bloop, 15 seconds or whatever, and then bloop, rolls back, and and then you start blowing up the bulbs,
Yeah.
and then once the bulbs start dying, then it goes all nuts.
Isn't it like a single string? Like if you lose one bulb, isn't it typically like you
No.
lose everything, or is it?
No, no. So, well, what'll start happening is you start losing them at the ends, and it starts working its way down. And as you lose them, now you're picking up weirder because I have a tuner. You have to have a tuner. This won't work without a tuner. So the tuner will start to kick in, and it's like
I don't know what to do.
It's got an angle grinder in there working out a filter plan, and it starts to adjust, and then you'll see the lights like, and then it'll find a solution, and then it'll start transmitting again.
Dude, that's so
It's
rad.
hilarious when it works, but you got to be careful. You really have to like gradually
Ease into it.
warm it up.
Yeah.
Because if you give it too much power, you'll blow bulbs immediately, and then it won't work.
And they're
very well.
filament, right? Not LEDs.
Have to be incandescent.
Okay,
You
okay.
cannot use LEDs for it. There is no rhyme or reason to it. It's not like you take a Delta Loop plan
Yeah.
and cut it for 40 meters and go, that's it.
Sure.
Because it's full of inductors. They're all little inductors.
Yeah.
So the characteristic impedance of any
You're
of this stuff is a nightmare. You don't even test it. You just like
Hook it up to a tuner and pray.
hook it up to a tuner and go. So, but I have gotten. I believe. Did I get DX contacts last year? I think I did. I think I got
Really?
DX with it. Easily get to the other side of the country, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, with a Christmas light, and it's lit. It's full up lit. Yeah.
Well, with 1,500 watts going in, you could probably get there optically.
no.
Just communicate
Glow
with the
the
glow
wire.
on the clouds.
I don't think I've ever gone over 800 watts.
Wow.
None of the bulbs go beyond 800 watts.
And are you going to do a new antenna this year?
Every year's a new antenna.
Okay. Okay.
Every year's a new antenna.
So
I-
tune in
I
to
think
find
you
out what
should-
it's going to be.
I think you should pregame this year's with an Antennode.
No.
I won't have the time,
No,
unfortunately.
no. It's all
But I did. I've done the Delta Loop was my favorite. The phased vertical is pretty ridiculous. I did a 40-meter vertical phased.
No
setup.
way.
Yeah,
How
That's
did you
cool.
hook them together? How did you control the phasing?
a T with 2 different lengths of coax.
Oh, you tune with length. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
you
Right.
tune with
Okay.
the
Okay. So
length.
it's like a single band.
Single band, 40 meters.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
it.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And that didn't stop me from tuning it up on different
Sure, why
bands.
not? Yeah,
but
screw it.
it's not getting any phasing.
Yeah,
from
yeah,
there.
yeah.
That worked out really well because it was just due east.
Dude.
And
sick.
Again, is it truly doing the thing? No, it's not. But yes, you got both of them to light up. And eventually we burnt out the one first, which was the shorter run. And then it switched over to the second one. And so all that power, which was split, is now just going
Down
right
to
down
one
to
of 'em.
one. And those lights lit up real bright for like a second. And then they just started dying. So it's fun. It's fun.
Oh, that's
Love it.
awesome.
Like it almost reminds me of like the Mythbusters, where like you keep running this thing until like at one point you just blow it up, right? Like you just run it till it goes.
I have had it go past the hour because usually we aim for it to be about an hour, and I still couldn't blow it up, and I had topped it out, and I'm worried that we might do that again this year because my new amp is on 110, and that tops out at 500. So I don't know. I think we might actually not pop them this year.
Okay, because you're like bottlenecked at the power source essentially.
Yes, which is kind of funny because all my amps have worked off of 100, 110, but they will usually go up to like 800 watts. This one though is like, nope, I only do 500. You got to give me.
So you
240 if
normally
you wanna.
operate FT8 on this, right?
Usually FT8 because
Could
an hour goes
I-
by really fast.
Could I persuade you to try AM?
AM?
AM.
I think it would be hilarious to watch his voice flickering on the wires.
Modulating, yeah.
Yeah, AM modulation.
Because I've done single sideband.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
But the nice thing about that is you've got enough of a carrier, they would still light up. You would see them flicker. And it's just such a
And
wonderfully dumb mode.
The wire is gonna vary, like
Well,
as it
and
heats
critically,
up.
That's
because
a good idea though.
well, and because you're going up and down, it gives them effectively
It's
a
going to-
cool down. So I think they would last to a higher power.
It'd be cool to hear what the voice sounds like if it
I
like
would-
modulates or something.
Right. Or do you get like some sort of weird rectification or like
Yeah.
I don't know. It would be fun.
I will try.
That's a
it.
cool
I will-
idea.
I will try it. So the problem that you get with the Christmas, because again, these are Christmas lights. They're not antenna bits. You're not radiating very well.
Right.
So what I was finding was I would get on the air, and I've made single sideband contacts with this thing. Not far off, but that's kind of the problem is you can't really get that far. So you're not making impressive single sideband contacts because you're literally just burning it up as light. It's heat, light, and heat. It's incandescent. It's literally heat. So that's where it's kind of like, well, yeah, we'll do. But AM, I've never thought about doing AM.
Also, could we get you to do a second FLIR camera
Look at it
to
in
observe the
thermal.
antenna? I want to see the thermals.
Well, one of the cameras I have is actually my. I have a security camera that's on the boom of my Yagi,
Okay.
and it is rotatable.
Okay.
And it has a like a night mode.
Yeah, but it's like 1 micron. I want to see like 5 microns.
Like thermal, like actual
I want to see
thermal.
real thermal bands.
So what I can do is I have one of those USB-C numbers that goes on the phone.
Oh, yeah.
I do have an
Yes.
infrared one.
I wanna
Or
see one
not
of
infrared,
those.
But yeah, I'd have to get the FT8 going and then walk outside and do it.
That would be so cool though. Because if you could literally just see it glowing with heat where the heat comes from all the bulbs as the FT8 turns on and off.
That's interesting.
I love the like classic ham scope creep. Like, here's an idea. It's like, wait, how do we like roll this into something crazy?
so I know
you
you're.
did, but have you thought of this
Let's see
way
one
more
more
complicated
yeah,
thing?
exactly.
I mean, I know you're live streaming with a Christmas tree light using an amp and digital modes, but also,
But also,
Oh man,
all
dude, what? a
right.
dream.
Well, that was fun. So what day can people see that?
Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, my normal live stream time. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this,
on the 20th.
Is that how that
Is
works?
that wait?
I guess
Which
we
date?
have calendars.
we have calendars. But if you're listening to this after
is the
that
20th,
date,
yes.
you
20th
missed
of
it,
December.
but you can watch the replay on YouTube.
That's right. Yeah. Replay. What do we call that? Replay gang?
Replay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Was that
Oh,
it,
man.
Ar?
I think, dude. Wow, we went like time just flew by. This is amazing.
It's almost like we're working with a professional.
Yeah. This has been like. I guess we've peaked now, man. Like we got to pack it
That's
up.
it.
Like this
Shut it
podcast is
down.
over, guys. Like we got Josh. It's done. No, I'm obviously joking. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you so much for driving out here and,
wasn't
joining
that
us on the
bad, but I
couch.
mean, it's Southern California. It takes forever to go anywhere.
Even on a
Well, you just take
Yeah.
the shortcut from the 405 through El Segundo.
weekend.
Was that just driving
Down
down
La
LAX
Brea.
right down the terminal, like the runway? Yeah. They'll love that. I'll get a police, what do they call
Escort?
that? An escort. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
Police
yeah,
escort.
yeah.
Oh man, cool. And I think we'll have our show notes and everything. So all the stuff we talked about, we'll try to throw them all in there down in the description. And don't forget to check out our Patreon. Don't forget to check out the cool Christmas tree that Josh is going to be making on the 20th. And thank you all so much for joining us. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
Had
man.
fun. Yeah.
And 7-3.
7-3s.
73.
911, what's your emergency?
I'd like to report a missing sofa.
Do you have a description?
It's brown and leather.
When was the last time you saw it?
It was last seen on the air.
Have you tried calling CQ?
No, I have not. Thank you.